that right now is one of those moments when we're influencing the future. Connecting with all of you around the world.
We now can do our business completely online. Jeunesse is a business that can change people's lives forever.
We have 150 countries of souls of the Jeunesse family all connected together here. But I'm also just impressed by the culture you've created, because culture is what makes something last.
Think about where you'd like to be at the end of 2020. Think about where you'd like to be moving into 2021.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please help me welcome to the 2021 Lead Stage Chief Visionary Officer, Scott Lewis.
All right, Jeunesse family, are we ready for this moment? We got super fans, we got real fans, we got diamonds on the floor. Super fans, are you guys ready? Let me get some hearts on the screens. If you love Lead, if you love Jeunesse, let me get some hearts up there. Super fans are ready, they are engaged. Here we are, ready to kick off General Session 3, the moment many of us have been waiting for. Super excited to introduce our keynote speaker. And you know, when I think about Lead as a concept and this leadership event that we put on every year, it's about giving you as much value, as much content as possible that you can apply to your business, tactics and strategies that you can apply and begin to see immediate traction and results in your business. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's a practice, right? It's about getting better every single day. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, learning new principles, learning new strategies and tactics, putting them into practice, and celebrating those small wins, celebrating that progress, that process of progress that I spoke about last night. And I'm reminded back of Expo, we had a keynote speaker by the name of Tony Robbins. And, you know, when I looked at Tony as a potential keynote, I look at him as, you know, kind of a life coach, so many life building principles. And then as we start to build up for Lead, you know, Lead is all about leadership. You know, it's about being a professional network marketing pro, having pride in what we stand for, being proud to be a professional network marketer, being proud to represent products like we have in the Youth Enhancement System, being proud to represent a company like Jeunesse. And as we start to think about, you know, how can we deliver as much value as possible this weekend at Lead? How can we kick off 2021 in a major way? You know, it started to come up with ideas. And as I thought about how can we deliver the richest content for you, leadership principles and tactics that you can apply, there was only one name that came to mind. And he's someone that I've watched from afar and seen him develop his system, develop his, you know, his brand, his following, his skills, and someone who I've got so much respect for. He's been involved with network marketing since 1988. It's probably around the same time my mom and Randy got involved with network marketing. I think 2 years later, I attended my first network marketing event in 1990. And since then, he's established himself as an authority, really a strong authority in the network marketing industry. In 2009, same year that we founded Jeunesse, he actually founded Network Marketing Pro, which is his training platform that now has an audience of over 137 countries around the world. Very much a global platform as well. And since inception, Network Marketing Pro has produced extensive library of content and training, and you're going to get it all right here today on this stage for 3 hours. 3 hours of rich content, but he's got incredible tools as well. He and his wife also started the most powerful women in network marketing. I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it's incredible to see, what they're doing to represent women in this industry as well, right? Because, women very much are a driving force in so many of our Diamonds organizations. Well, here they are. Here are the driving forces, but certainly all over the world. So I've got a lot of respect for that as well, but continues to be, one of the most watched and trusted thought leaders when it comes to network marketing professional. He's now trained a community of over 2 million leaders all around the world in over 100 countries. Are you ready for this moment? Are you ready to welcome to the Jeunesse stage your keynote for Lead 2021? Superfans, let's bring crazy energy. Put those distractions aside. Let's get locked in, focus. Let him speak to your mind. Let him speak to your heart. Let's take Jeunesse to the next level and welcome your keynote, Eric Worre. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Rockstar, give him a round of applause. How you doing, everybody? Good to see you. Hello, Jeunesse family around the world. I'm seeing everybody holding up the books around the world. That's cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to spend some time with you. Leadership is my favorite topic because I think leadership drives everything. But before I get into leadership, I know people are connecting from around the world, different time zones. For some of you, it's in the middle of the night. Some of you, it's very early in the morning. Wherever you're at, my intention is to give you as much value as I possibly can over the course of these next 3 hours. And before I do that, I have to tell you something. I did not know that the company was founded around the similar times of Network Marketing Pro and everything else. But what a story. I am such a super fan of what this family has done and what you as leaders have done around the world. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't know how many records you've broken, but it's got to be a lot of them. As far as growth, leadership development, product line quality, radical customers, but at the same time creating wealth around the world. The entire world, there's some organizations just decided, hey, we're going to dominate the United States, or we're going to dominate Malaysia, or we're going to dominate Italy. You guys decided to dominate the world, so congratulations on that. Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody out there. Let me see some hands. Well done, well done. Innovation, growth, and I want to talk about leadership development today because it's the most important thing. You guys are a rocket ship. Extraordinary. But now, what's the next phase? What does that look like? And I will tell you, to go to the next phase, to be able to really step into the next phase, I want you to understand that it's all about developing the best leader in you and then building thickness of leaders within your organization. Some of you, you are the leader for your team. But how many do you have and how high quality are those people? And I also want to say before we begin, for all the people that are watching around the world, we have superstars here in Florida watching this thing, physically with us. But for everybody out there, everybody here, all these rock stars, we're all in the place that you're in right now at some point. And The only difference was between them and you is they made a decision and they took action. And I want you to know, if you're watching this, you're watching for a reason, and I want you to know that 2021 can be the year for you. It can be the time for you to change everything. Even if you've been around this company for a while and you haven't broken any records and you're not famous and everybody might not know your name, that's fine. But just know this. Any moment it can change. Who's ready to make a change? Raise your hands. Let me see your hands. Who's ready to do something bigger and better? Let's see your hands. All right, I'll believe that with you. And we're going to give you the tools over the course of these 3 hours in order for you to be able to turn that intention into reality. So let me just start by briefly, and I do mean briefly, tell you my story. I did get involved in network marketing in 1988. I was 23 years old at the time, and I was nobody's prize. I was nobody's rock star. I grew up in the middle of the United States in a state called Minnesota, frozen little area of the United States. And I was a kid who grew up in a loving family. We were lower middle class, and I never really took advantage of the gifts that I was given. I barely escaped high school. I was not a good student. If you know what a GPA is, if that translates around the world, I graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA. So I'm nobody's rocket scientist, that's for sure. But I have a very difficult time learning 20 minutes at a time, 30 minutes at a time. 30 minutes of English, 30 minutes of mathematics, 30 minutes of science. If you would have said, we're going to take 90 days of science and then 90 days of mathematics, I'd have been fine. But my brain didn't work that way. I got to surround something and absorb it over time. So anyway, I barely escaped that. I went to college for 1 semester and dropped out, and I started my journey, and I counted it up one time. I had 18 different jobs by the time I was 23 years old. 18. Last job I had was I sold real estate for my father and his partner who were in the real estate business. And in 1987, I made about $45,000, mostly because they gave me a bunch of business from their business. But the problem was I spent $60,000 and I didn't save any money for taxes. And it was January of 1988, and I was like, boy, do I need money. I'd started a little family. I need money like oxygen. If I don't figure it out pretty quick here. For those of you who are young around the world, I know it seems silly to feel like you're running out of time when you're 23. But I felt like I was running out of time. I felt like if I don't figure something out quick, I don't have much to look forward to other than scraping by and apologizing all the time. I was behind on my bills. I was behind on my promises. I was embarrassed. People were calling saying, hey, you said the check was in the mail. And I was frustrated. And good fortune showed up in my life in the form of one of my early mentors. He was a best friend to my father. His name was John Joyce. And John came to my desk one day and he said, hey, Eric, I think I have a way. Wow, you got a picture of John. That's my old friend, John Joyce. And he said, I think I have a way for us to make some extra money. And I'm like, John, I need money like oxygen. I've whatever you're doing, tell me what. He was a millionaire. I'm trying to figure out what I was going to do. And we got in the car and we drove over to his friend Charlie's house. And Charlie was another successful guy. He had this big Arabian horse ranch. And back then, they pulled out a VHS cassette. Anybody remember VHS cassettes? Anybody still have a collection somewhere? Anyway, he pulled out the VHS cassette that had been copied like 100 times. Dennis would remember this. and he put this into the VHS player and pushed play. And I proceeded to watch the most ridiculous, outrageous video ever. Everybody had mansions and limousines and helicopters and yachts, and everybody was like, I was homeless 90 days ago and I'm making $40,000 a month now and my life's totally changed. And it was so outrageous. I mean, literally, it could never be played in today's regulatory marketplace, ever, ever, ever. And please don't make the same mistake, right? We live in a different regulatory world. But back then, it was so outrageous that I was just like, you ever see Shark Tank or similar shows around the world where people evaluate businesses? I turned into one of the sharks. I'm broke, mind you. I have no money. They're wealthy. And I'm sitting on the couch like this. The video's done. And I'm like, guys, really? And I said, gentlemen, thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it. But based upon what I've seen, I'm out. And they said, that's okay. You can wait. We're probably going to do it anyway. I'm like, oh, man. Now, these guys are successful. I'm broke. They're going to do it. I work for them, or for a couple of them. The only thing worse than being broke is having had the opportunity, they go succeed and I have to watch. That would be bad. And the truth is, I didn't have the money. Anybody, when you first started your Jeunesse business, you didn't have the money? It was a stretch for you? Anybody? For me, I literally didn't have the money. So I pulled my dad aside and said, Dad, would you do me a favor? I know you've given me loans. I know you've helped me out, but would you give me one more loan to get started? Back then, it was $5,000 to join. And $5,000 every single month in new business just to qualify to get a check. Different time. So he said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I tried to save face, walked over to the guys. Well, I've reconsidered. I guess I'll get started. So I signed up. And one lesson, I'll give you one quick lesson for your notes just to start. I walked out of the house, and as I'm walking to the car, I'm walking about 20 or 30 feet in front of John Joyce, my father, and Charlie. And John Joyce turns to the other two guys, and he says, do you see that kid? That kid's going to do better than all of us combined. And I heard him say it. And I was like, wow. Because he believed in me more than I believed in me. And something for your notes. If you're going to take notes, something for your notes. The gift of your belief in someone else is an enormous gift. The gift of believing in yourself is huge. But if you can find a person in your organization that maybe doesn't believe in themselves as much as you believe in them, and you express that belief and let them hear that you express that belief, you know what it did for me? It made me want to not make my mentor, John, a liar. Because there was times I wanted to quit, but I said, well, John said I was going to do better than all these other guys. I can't quit. So I got started. My very first month, made a little bit of money, and immediately quit real estate. Because remember I told you I can't do more than one thing in a short period. So I can't have a job and build this fortune because I just look at this check I just got. It's pretty cool. The second month I made even more. Big check. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've won the lottery. I'm in the right place at the right time. This is spectacular. This is amazing. Order the private jet. It's coming, right? So, third month. I'm full-time now. And in the first 2 months, how much of the money that I earned from those first 2 months do you think I spent? All of it. I didn't save any money for taxes. I did nothing. I spent it all. Third month, full-time, When I got the check, it was so small. My entire group had fallen apart. Now, mind you, full time, I need $3,000 to pay the bills, keep the wolves away from the door back at that time. My third month's check, full time, was $1,098.60. And every part of my bad programming kicked in. I blamed the company. I blamed the economy. I blamed Minnesota. You can't succeed in Minnesota because they're all frozen. Nobody wants to go look at a business in February and March in Minnesota because they're frozen. So I blamed the company. They said the products sell themselves. Liars. It's right here. Here's the products. They haven't sold themselves. I blame the comp plan. Blame the training. They don't give you any training. Big problem. And this is one of the greatest gifts that I ever received. I had no place to go. One of the greatest gifts I ever received is I had no place to go. Some of you are so talented and you're so skilled and you're such great entrepreneurs that if something happens here, no problem. You got all kinds of other doors you can do, other options you could take. Where was I going to go? Age 23. Where am I going to go? Who's going to hire me? I can't go back to real estate. It's going to take me 90 days to get paid. I got to have money now. So I believe, not to be religious on you, but to be spiritual with you, I believe that God closed all those other doors and forced me through the door of network marketing because God knew that network marketing was going to force me to become the person that I needed to become. That was true for me. So after moaning and groaning and complaining and kicking and screaming and throwing a tantrum, I said, okay, I'm going to go back to work. And to be honest with you, Dennis Windsor's sitting right here, and I just remember him. He was godlike. He's a legend still to this day around the world, but he was godlike at that time. I mean, the stuff that he put out, everything came out of his mouth. Such a smart guy. And I remember, man, if I could ever make what Dennis is making, what he was doing in that company back then was just spectacular. And I just decided I was going to make up in work what I lacked in skill, what I lacked in knowledge, what I lacked in ability, what I lacked in talent, understanding. I was just going to work. And I did. I was what you would call a grinder, a network marketing grinder. For 3 years, I ground and I ground and I ground and I ground. And I just didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept showing up. I showed up at events. And I would love to tell you that in those first 3 years, that my income took off and I had wealth. But that's not true. What I had for those 3 years was a job. It wasn't a business yet. It was just a job. I got paid like I was showing up at the coal mine and shoveling coal. And my organization, just understand this, I rebuilt my organization 7 times. 7. I remember the training. Let me show you the training. Is there a Sharpie somewhere? Somebody have a Sharpie they can throw me? I'll show you the training. Maybe you've seen it. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Here's the training. Ready? Here's you. You ever see this training? You seen it? So, and all you need to do, the easiest thing in the world, is get 5 people. Wow. Okay. And you know what I found out? Getting 5 people is not about skill, it's not about talent, it's not about ability, it's just a decision. Some of you, at some point, most of you got 5, and the reason why you got 5, you just said, I'm getting 5. I'm not going another month without getting 5. I'm getting 5. I'm getting in the car. I'm not going home till I get my 5, right? You could just, from sheer will, go get 5. You talk to enough people, talk to 10,000 people, and there's 5 of them going to say yes, right? So I got my 5. Cool, mission accomplished, step 1. And then they say, and then all you need to do is have those 5 get 5. Oh, easy peasy, piece of cake. So, and you know what I found out? That wasn't that easy. You know what I learned that I had to do? I'd try and encourage my people to get 5. Come on, I'd push them to get 5. I'd train them to get 5. I'd pat them on the back and recognize them to get 5. But you know what it ended up being? I got their 5. I said, get in the car, give me your list, let's talk to them, I'll figure it out. And I just forced them to get 5. Right? And then they said and then it's just 125, 625, 3125, what is it, 15,625? Nope. I thought that this just, once you kick the snowball off the mountain, the avalanche just happens. No. Didn't happen for me. I got these 5 and I got these. I made this happen. And then about there, it stopped. And I heard about these people, the Danian Fires of the world, that had 125, 625, 3125, 15,000. Like, what in the world? Having these huge organizations, how is that even possible? These unicorns, these mythical creatures down here that, people that you'd never met. I remember going to conventions and people saying, oh, I met a diamond in my organization for the very first time. I was like, screw you. I know the middle name of every single person on my team. I know too much about my team. I know every one of their problems, and if they're getting in a fight with their girlfriend, I know everything about my team. And you have people 427 levels deep in your organization that you're meeting for the first time, that's at the top level in your group. I was so discouraged. I would build up to about 30, and then it would fall, I'd get it to like 30, and then it would fall down to like 12. And then I'd build it up to like 30 again and fall down to like 7. And then I'd say, well, maybe I need to be tougher. I need to be a leader. So I bring people on my team. Get in the team. Sign on the thing. Give me 20 push-ups. Right? And people are like, no, I'm not here to, do what you tell me to do. And it would fall back down again. And then I'd say, well, maybe it's just not enough love in our culture. Everybody come on in. Let's have a big hug. And everybody just, we're just hanging out, talking to each other about our problems. Nobody sold nothing. Everybody just sat there. And then I said, oh, we're young. Let's just be young and have parties. And we'll see if we sell some product. So I built it up to like 30 and it fall down to like 5. I did this 7 times. And then you end up with, if you've done this, raise your hand if this has happened to you at least once. Come on. This happened to you at least once. You built it up, fell apart. Okay, I did it 7 times. And you know what you end up having? You end up with, you build up to 30 and it falls down to like 9. And after you've done this like 3 or 4 times, they start looking like The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? You ever look at your team and you're a little bit depressed? Like, that? Yeah, this is my team. This is all I got. It's just like, and they're walking around saying, I'm still here. I'm still here. The thing that One of the biggest lies in network marketing is you will succeed if you just don't quit. Not true. Not true. Now, quitting is going to guarantee that you fail, but just hanging around, a bunch of you, I love you, I'm glad you're here, but you're tourists. Thanks for coming. We hope you keep using the product, after you come visit Jeunesse Land. But at some point, you got to do something. You can't just be in the right place at the right time. You're already there. You got to be the right person at the right place at the right time. You got to get better at the right place at the right time. So I made a decision about 3.5 years into my business that I was done being a tourist, and I was going to become a professional. I was going to learn this business. I was going to earn my way onto this stage. And I got to tell you, one thing for your notes, write this into your notes. Decision is everything. I made a decision for real, that I was going to the top. I wasn't going to be denied. What's the absolute highest rank in the company? The highest. Crown Diamond. Is there levels of Crown Diamond? No. Okay, Crown Diamond. And what's the base? Executive. Is it distributor? Is it rep? What is it? Distributor. I made the decision that there was only 2 ranks in the company. Distributor, Crown Diamond. 1, 2. That's all there was. And I was going here. And I wasn't going to compare myself to somebody else. I wasn't going to feel bad if somebody got there before I did. But all these other things were not my destination. They were not my intention. They were just mile markers on my journey. I was going to make this happen. Period. End of story. And when I made the decision I was going to do that, I started to equip myself to do that. Everything changed. I stopped trying to get lucky. I stopped trying to look for magical people that are going to change everything. I stopped giving my problems to other people, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to the top. And once this happened, the other thing I did is I agreed at that moment that I was done blaming other people for my problems. I literally said goodbye to my upline. And let me explain what I mean by that. I went to my upline and I said, look, I've been blaming you for my lack of success for too long. So I want to thank you very much for thinking enough of me to bring me in to this opportunity. I'm very grateful. I'll never forget it. We're going to be friends forever, and I'm going to be grateful to you for forever. But from this moment forward, you will never be an excuse for my lack of achievement. You'll never be an excuse for my lack of performance. You'll never be an excuse for my lack of growth. I'm never going to blame you. I'm not going to expect anything of you. We'll be friends, but from this moment, I am CEO of my company. And I'm going to build it to the top. Changed everything. And it'll change it for you. Some of you have been blaming other people. If I only lived in a different country, if I only spoke a different language, if I only had a different upline, look at the upline that they have. If I only had this, if I only had that, then I'd be successful. It's not about that. Until you become CEO of your business, there's only so far you're going to go. So, I will tell you, once you do make the decision, the journey to success is actually pretty fast. People here will tell you, once you made the decision, how long did it take? Once you really made a decision, I'm going, I'm doing it. How long? How long for you?
1 year.
1 year? How long for you, Daniel?
Massive breakthroughs in less than 90 days.
Less than 90 days. Dennis, when you made a real decision, you're going. What was it for you? 90 days. Any of you guys? 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. It was 3 years for me. Yeah. I went from struggling, barely making enough to be able to survive, to $1 million a year, 3 years. And I'm not a distributor, so I can say that. I'm just talking about to wherever the compliance department is. I'm just making sure. So, everything, yeah. Now, let me tell you one thing about compliance before we get into leadership. They have one of the most important jobs in the world, and that job is to protect the goose that's laying the golden eggs for everybody. It might not be fun for them to be consistently telling you, hey, be careful, be careful, be careful. We got to protect the company. But they're doing a very, very important job. And frankly, they've been underdoing it globally in our profession for decades. And the fact that we need to be responsible in this time, you can build and be responsible, I promise. You can. So they're doing a great job. So I do want to make sure that I mention that. So let's talk about everything changed for me. It can change for you. Today, I work with and coach about, 300 people that make $1 million a year or more. I've worked with millions of people around the world. I speak to, pre-COVID, I'd speak to live about 250,000 people a year, something like that. And so I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot over the course of the last 33 years in this profession. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to share some of the things I've learned specifically about leadership. Okay? I'm not going to teach you fundamentals today. I'm going to talk to you about how to become a better leader, how to lead yourself, how to lead your team, how to build within the organization. First thing I wanted to describe to you is there's 4 things that we do. 4 things that we do. Number 1, we sell valuable products and services using word-of-mouth advertising. That's what we do. That's one of the core things that we do. We sell. The product doesn't sell itself, we sell. If the product sold itself, company wouldn't need you. We sell, but we use word-of-mouth advertising, the most trusted form of advertising around the world. In our world today, is there trust in advertising, trust in social media, trust in mainstream media? Not a lot, but there's trust in when a friend says, hey, you should check this out. That's one of the things that we do. Number 2, we recruit. We recruit people. We build an ever-expanding team of people who are also selling. An ever-expanding team. Number 3, we duplicate the process. It's not just us building this little team, but we teach other people how to do it, other people how to do it, other people how to do it. That's what starts to be able to create leverage for us. And number 4, we improve the productivity of our teams based upon the leadership that we have. If there's 2 teams of 100 people, one has an extraordinary leader and the other one has a poor leader, the group of 100 people that has the extraordinary leader is going to be more productive. Our job as leadership is to get our teams to do more than they would have done without us. That's it. So the first 2 of these is the job of network marketing. 3 and 4 is the business. 1 and 2, it's just like any other job. Sell and recruit, sell and recruit, sell and recruit. 3 and 4 creates leverage, duplication, scale, what starts to be able to create residual. In other words, being paid over time for efforts that you did prior. Those are the 4 things that we do. Just understanding those simple 4 things. The other thing I would tell you is that there's different levels of success in our profession. 5 levels. From $0 to $25,000 a year is just follow instructions. Be a good soldier. Just do what we tell you to do, trust the process, follow instructions. And we will show you how to Do what is necessary to be able to make a couple $1,000s a month part-time. Level 2, 25,000 to 100,000. You know what that's all about? Hard work. Work your butt off. Grind it out. Make it happen. It's just about the grind. Bust your butt. Level 3, 100 to 500 is all about duplication. How do you create more duplication? Because a lot of people think if I work hard to get to 100, I can work hard to get to 500. Nope. You got to start adding duplication, because if you don't have duplication, it's awful hard to get to those levels. 500 to 1 million is all about promotion. Learning how to promote events, how to promote products, how to promote systems, how to promote culture, how to promote campaigns, how to promote the compensation plan, how to promote. One of the highest compliments I can give someone in network marketing is they're a great promoter. They're a great promoter. So that's going to get you can get to 1 million with that. Now, to get beyond 1 million, it's all about influencer and leadership development. How do you develop more leaders within your organization? How do you get people who are building whether or not you're building, who are promoting whether or not you're promoting, who are growing whether or not you're growing? So those are the 5 generally, and this is from working with millions of people, that's generally the 5 kind of areas as a person rises up in the profession. Now, some of them, as they start, if they follow instructions and they're good promoters, they're going to move faster. Understand? But these are the 5 kind of areas so you can kind of have as a target. If you want to have a career path, think about these skill sets with these income levels, and the career path is going to make itself apparent to you. It's not just all about rank. It's about skills. So let's talk about leaders for a moment, because leaders is such a big deal, and I want all of you to become a better leader of yourselves and a better leader of your teams. 5 key elements of leadership. And this is just my observation. You might have your own list. I'm going to give you my list. Number 1 is that they're independent. A good leader is independent. A good leader is not needy. They're like, I got it. I'll take care of it. I got it. Number 2, a good leader is an excellent problem solver. And some people think that they're good problem solvers, and they're really not. Because you know what they do to solve problems? They give them to somebody else. Like, I have a problem. Hey, who can I give it to? Let me give it to the company. Let me give it to my upline. Let me give it to my spouse. Let me give it to, whoever. They get it off of their plate, and then they think they're great problem solvers. They're not. They're problem delegators, but they're not problem solvers. Great leaders are great problem solvers. They solve problems fast. They don't let problems linger. They solve it quick. When you think about the great leaders that you know, what happens when a problem shows up in their orbit? How long does it sit there? Not very long. They solve it quick. 3rd, they're consistent. And this I probably would have quadrupled my career earnings as a distributor in the field if I was more consistent. If I'm honest with you, my consistency was not great. I was really hot and really cold. I'd go really hot for 90 days, and then I'd disappear for 30 days. And then I'd go hot for 30 days, I'd disappear for a week. And if you're inconsistent, the team loses trust in you. Your promotional ability starts to fall. Your ability to cause better action starts to fall. You got to rebuild. I had a bunch of mental programming challenges that caused my inconsistency that I didn't realize till many years later in my life. And I'll just tell you now, I didn't think that I had a problem with success because I was very ambitious. But I had a problem with success. I felt a little bit guilty when I was out earning my friends. I felt a little uncomfortable when I had money in my pocket. So I started buying everybody lunch, and I started procrastinating on things that I didn't need to procrastinate on. And what I found is I was sabotaging my own business because my identity was the scrappy underdog. It was not the superstar of business. So I sabotaged my own business over and over and over with inconsistency. It took me a long time to realize that it was okay to be able to go be successful and help other people. And I didn't need to feel guilty about it. And some of that was misinterpreting some of my spiritual upbringing. It's hard for a wealthy person to get into heaven. I was like, huh. And I didn't even realize that I was finding ways to sabotage through bad partnerships, bad investments. I was always finding myself making a bunch of money and not having much. And until I realized that I needed to stop sabotaging my business, I'm going to talk about sabotage a little bit more in a moment. Until I realized that, I wasn't able to be consistent. And I had to also come up with tricks to be more consistent. And I'll give you some of those tricks today. For me, for my rebellious nature. Any of you rebellious? Any of you rebellious to structured authority? I don't care what it is. If it could be a speed limit. And I'm driving a little faster, just a little, because I can't just go the speed limit, right? So I'm a little rebellious that way. Anyway, those are the first three. Number 4, good leaders have a big vision. They have a big vision and the ability to articulate that vision. Think about the leaders of your company. Think about the top leaders around the world. What is their vision for what they're building? And they have the ability to communicate it. Not just have it in their head. When you get this solid enough, when your vision gets clear enough, your vision is your biggest recruiting tool, not your products. Not the company, not the compensation plan, not the area of the world, not the timing in the marketplace, your vision. When you get to be the right leader, your vision is all you talk about. And people will step into that vision. So, number 5, real leadership creates results. One of my original mentors, Jim Rohn, said, hey, results are the name of the game. You got to measure it. Are you creating more? I'm a good leader, really. Who's following? I'm a good leader, really. Is your organization growing? Oh, I'm a good leader, really. Show me how many rank advancements happened on the team last month. How many people are attending this live event around the world? That's how you measure. So I want to show you something amazing that I learned through my studies around the world. Is I work with lots of $1 million a year earners and above. And I'm assuming we have some here in the room. How many, with this 5, put the 5 criteria back up again, please. You have that? Yeah. How many people that fit these 5 criteria do you think the average $1 million a year earner has on their team? Total. They have all 5. So I want to ask the people that are here in the studio with us. How many do you have on your team? Now, some of you are going to be tough graders and some of you are going to be friendly. But how many do you think you have on your team that fit all 5 of these criteria? And I think you'd agree, none of these are particularly hard to do, but you got to put them all together. Okay? So how many do you have on your team? Approximately. 20? 20 or 30? You're the only one. How about you? 10. 2. None? 7 7 to 10. Anybody else? 10%. 10%? Ain't no 10%. How about you guys? 10? 50?
Yeah, I'd say 50 to 70.
50 to 70? Who else? Anybody? 5? So average around the world is about 25. 25 people in your entire team that fit this criteria in order to be able to earn $1 million a year. Now, that's not a guarantee, but it is an average around the world of all the people that I'm working with. But here's the thing. Can each one of you start to step into these 5 criteria, yes or no? Yes. Every one of you can do this. Can you become independent, less needy? Yes. Can you become a better problem solver? Of course. Can you be more consistent? That's just a decision. Can you develop your big vision, and can you learn how to communicate it? Yes. And then can we start measuring the results that come out of this? Do you create results? Good leaders, when they walk into the room, everything changes. Good leaders, when they show up on the Zoom, everything changes. Good leaders, just being in the world somewhere creates change on the other side of the world. They're really good at it. So if you could do it with yourself, right? That's step 1. Then you're going to, and I'm going to teach you as we talk about this today, I'm going to walk you through how to identify people on your team that have the potential of becoming a leader and then mentor them into that leadership. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about one of the biggest breakthroughs that I learned for every single one of you around the world. You want to change your life? I want you to take a piece of paper. Who wants to change their life for the better? Raise your hands, please. Come on, play along with me. Tourists? No tourists. All right, there it is. There it is. I can see you. I can see you. All right, cool. I want you to take a piece of paper in front of you, and I want you to write Jeunesse on that piece of paper. And then I want you to write whatever else you are doing to earn money on that piece of paper. Whatever else you are doing to earn money. And I want you to think of the sun, and I want you to think of the moon. When the moon comes out, it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and everybody loves the moon. But when the sun comes up, what happens to the moon? The moon disappears. In this example, one is primary and one is secondary. So I want you to be honest. I'm not talking about time, I'm talking about focus. You have your Jeunesse business, and then you have other forms of earning income, whatever they are, or other focuses in your life. Which one is primary, which one is a number 1, and which one is a number 2? Circle the one on the page that is primary, and be honest, God is watching. Did you circle it? I want you to physically circle it. Now, I know from experience that 95% of you plus circled this. You circled this. Your Jeunesse business is something you do when you have the time. Your Jeunesse business is something you do in between, in the nooks and crannies of your life. Some of you, how many of you have never missed a day of work in the last 3 days? Raise your hands, please. If you're very dependable, you never miss a day of work. Raise your hands. All over the screens, all over the place, right? What that tells me, likely, is that your work is primary, not because you're dependable, but because those same people, raise your hands, please, if you haven't missed a work in 3 years. Okay? Now, how many of you have missed a day of work in your Jeunesse business? Raise your hands, please. All of you. Come on, all of you. You don't have a sick day for the last 5 years in your other job, but you get the sniffles and you take a week off of Jeunesse. You get a headache and you take 2 weeks off. One is primary and one is secondary. I'm not talking about time. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about focus. You want to change your life? You have to change what is primary and what is secondary. You have to circle this and manage around this. Because here's what I know and what I've learned about the subconscious mind. It is the most powerful computer in the world that will either serve you on your intention, or it will do what you are asking it to do. And if your focus is here, for example, let's say your focus is on your job and not on Jeunesse. Okay? That's what you worry about. That's what you stress about. That's where you're more consistent. That's where you show up more clearly. If your focus is here, then your subconscious mind will serve this, and it will sabotage this. And you won't even know it. You think you're a procrastinator. You're not. Your primary and secondary is all screwed up. Your subconscious mind is causing you to procrastinate Jeunesse because it's serving you the job. Your subconscious mind is causing you to be inconsistent with Jeunesse, but it's really because it's trying to get your focus back over here on the job, which is where you're giving your intention and your time. Until you switch this intention, until you switch this focus, there's only so far you're going to go. All of you have this gap. Here's what you could do, and you know you should do, and here's what you do, and you don't know why. Why can't I close this gap? Because you are serving the wrong thing. You are primary to the wrong thing. In order for you to have a breakthrough and to close this gap and get what you know you could do and make it should, drive this line to this line, you have to change your focus. And there's a big word that I would suggest that you add to your life, and that's obsession. You need to be obsessed here. I saw a master class with Steve Martin talking about how to become a stand-up comedian. And Steve said, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Step 1, all your friends need to be stand-up comedians. Step 2, you need to be reading about comedy all the time. You need to be going to comedy shows all the time. You need to be writing jokes all the time. You need to be performing that all the time. You need to be filming yourself all the time. You need to be thinking about it all the time. You need to be thinking about how you're going to show up physically and in your appearance all the time. And my thought, well, what if they have a job? The job doesn't matter. You give to Caesar what Caesar needs. You go do what you need to do in the job, but you're thinking about, can I tell a joke about the break room? Can I tell a joke about, the crazy place I went to lunch? My person I'm working next to? Whatever. You need to change your obsession. Your mind will serve that. If you change your obsession to this, I just promise you, when I made the decision to go pro, everything changed. Everything. It went from being hard to being pretty reasonably easy once I really made the decision. But obsession's required. Now, it's not required if you want to follow instructions, make a little bit of money part-time. It's not. You can make some money part-time. But the truth is, once you become obsessed with this, even if this is 10 hours a week and this is 60 hours a week, if you're obsessed here, pretty soon, you're going to find a career here. It won't take as long as you think. So once you change the primary and change the secondary, everything changes. Next thing I will tell you is self-worth matters. Self-worth is a big deal. I want you to write 3 things down because it's going to help you with your obsession and with your programming. I am worthy, I am capable, I am deserving. And for some of you, it's hard to even write that down because you don't believe it. Until you know that you're worthy of being a crown diamond, that you're capable of being a crown diamond, and you're deserving of being a crown diamond, you're going to find ways to sabotage your growth. This was the hardest thing in the world for me. I had the hardest time with this. This was the hardest thing. I'm coaching a group, a couple thousand people over the course of this year. And one of the biggest assignments we had to start the year is to take these 3 things, and I'll give you the same assignment. Put it on your refrigerator, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, put it on the dashboard of your car, put it on the steering wheel, put it on the back of your phone, put it as whatever the picture you have on your computer. Put it everywhere. Because until you beat this into your mind that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are deserving, you're going to have challenges. That you're enough. You don't need the upline. You don't need anybody else. You got this. You're going to be on your way to independence. On your way to growth. All right, now I want to give you some numbers. That this is going to... I've watched you as an organization, specifically the past 2 years. And I've known that something was going to happen to consolidate leadership, prune the field, prune some of the things that needed to be pruned, and prepare you for the next level of growth. Because here's what's true. It's extremely difficult to grow true leadership in an organization more than 10% a year. In fact, I've never seen it. You can by acquisition sometimes. Some people come in groups, whatever, but very difficult over time. So let's just say, take a look at this over time. If 10% a year looks like this, and let's just say that that's the leadership growth. What's been you guys' growth rate the last 10 years? Year over year. Up until a couple years ago. What's it been, approximately?
100% some years.
100% some years? 30%, 40%, 50%, 80%, 100%. Yeah? So what that means is you've had spikes and spikes and spikes, all the stuff. So if sales are higher than leadership growth, one of 2 things must happen. Must. It's like a stock that's gone way beyond its fundamentals. One of 2 things must happen. Either the leadership growth has to rise to the level of the sales, or the sales will come down to the level of the leadership growth. And that is not a bad story. Sometimes it's healthy. What I've seen, and I'm going to speak candidly, there was so much growth that there was more and more and more pressure put on fewer and fewer and fewer leaders. And eventually those leaders said, we can't hold everything. We can't develop people long enough. We can't get on enough airplanes. We can't open enough countries. We can't do all this stuff all the time. We just can't. Because these leadership development takes time. So There's an adjustment. You haven't even adjusted to the level of leadership. The biggest opportunity you've got, because you've built a juggernaut of a company, the biggest opportunity you have is to identify people who have the potential of being leaders and to rise them up. The best skilled organization wins. The highest amount of leaders wins. But you leaders can't do it on your own. There's only so far you can go. You have to replicate yourselves. And those people have to replicate themselves. You got to develop more leaders. So I want you to understand that when you think about leadership, when you think about growth, a lot of people panic when there is a correction in the marketplace. And there's always an excuse. There's a regulatory issue, or there's a country problem, or there was a change of the comp plan, or we changed the formula of this, or we changed it. And yes, some of those things may have contributed, but in truth, this is the whole deal. Raise that group up over a long enough period of time, and sales and that group will match. It's the reason why I have no doubt in my mind that this company will be $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion, $10 billion, and beyond, because of the commitment to excellence, the commitment to leadership development. So just understand this. This is the realities of the world that we live in, okay? So let's talk about how we do this. And I have notes here from a 3-day leadership event that I'm going to try and cover in these 3 hours. So we'll see how good we can do. Skip a couple things. First thing I want you to do right now, every single one of you, is to take inventory. Let me just ask you some questions. It's page 6, John, if you have it. I don't know if you can follow this fast. But I'm going to ask you a series of questions quickly. What got you in the game? What caused you to join this company? What got you in the game? And sometimes you just need to remember. Sometimes it's been a while since you thought about it. You need to think about it again. What got you in the game? What's keeping you in the game? Is it legacy? Is it other people? Is it more money? Is it build an empire? Change the world? Fulfill the dream? Number 3, what is the health of your business? Right now, how healthy is it? How much growth, recruiting, product movement, volume? Is it going up, going down? Is it flat? The morale, what's the morale within the organization? Excitement, vision? Number 4, what is the chokehold on growth? What's slowing you down? That if you could fix this, everything would change. Some areas, if we can get more product into this area, it'd be fantastic. Or if we can get, or if we can get this to happen, or we can get that to happen. Or I need more leaders. I need better presenters. What is the chokehold on growth? Is it you holding on too tight? Is it you don't have enough leaders? What is it? Self-awareness is everything. Number 5, what is holding you back? What is holding you back? You want to have a breakthrough, self-awareness is key. What is holding you back? What is causing you to play smaller? Is it something physical? Is it something geographical? Is it something emotional? What is holding you back? Maybe you've got a problem child on your team. Talking leadership now. Maybe you got somebody on the team that's so disruptive that they are causing everybody else to lose focus. What is holding you back? You got to look at this stuff. Number 6, how much are you making? If you know me at all, and again, this isn't a claim and I'm not doing anything, but if I'm having a conversation with you and I'm working with you, I'm like, tell me how much. I need to know how much. How much was last month? How much was last year? How much? What was your peak and where are you now? Why? What can we do to fix it? Danny and I were talking right before we started this thing. He was talking about his goals for this year, and what was my response? You got to go bigger, bro. I love the goal. Fantastic. Goal's fantastic. Amazing. Everybody else is going to be proud, but there's another level. So how much you making? Number 7, what's your home life like? What's your health? You don't want to build a huge business and lose your family. You don't want to build a huge business, lose your health. What's the point? Rich and dead? That's not good. What's your health like? What's your home life like? Take an inventory, right? Your existing personal situation. Now talk about your existing team. Your existing team. How many leaders do you have? Write them down. The way we described them with these 5 criteria. How many do you have? Who are they? How many do you have at each rank? How many do you have at each income level? How many you have in different countries? Take inventory. What do you got? What do you have to work with? Coming into this year, who's excited and ready to go? Who's lost their excitement and is not ready to go? What do you got to work with? At this moment, at this time of the year, is perfect time to be able to say, okay, I'm going to map out a game plan for 2021, but I got to see what I got. And listen, I understand a bunch of people around the world saying, this all sounds great, but I just got me. All I got is me. It's an army of one. Fine. It starts there. Don't ever feel bad about that. Every single person here, all these superstars, they all started with one. But still take inventory. Make a list of your existing assets and liabilities. What are the things that you're good at? What are the things that you got problems with? And also, what are your strengths? I have a philosophy when it comes to leadership development is what a lot of people will do is they'll focus on their weaknesses because they feel bad about them. I'm really not very good at this. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. Guess what I've seen with all the top leaders in the world? They manage around their weaknesses, but they don't spend much time. They have other people help them with their weaknesses, and they double and triple and quadruple down on their strengths. Whatever you're good at, it feels like cheating because it's not work to do what you're good at. You know what I mean? So it feels like you're being lazy to just do what you're good at, but you need to double and triple what you're good at and have somebody else help you with what you're not good at. Focus on those strengths, go hard on those strengths, hit those strengths, whatever those are, go hard in this year. Lines of significance. How many lines of significance do you have? Now you can decide, how would you guys measure a line of significance? What would it be? Certain rank, certain volume?
Say more than 10% of the total volume.
I mean, yeah, but is there a 10,000 CV or 20,000 CV or per month or what would it be? Huh? What do you think?
50,000 CV.
50? A rank? Qualified at a rank?
Depends on cycle or volume.
Yeah. So here's all I'm telling you. Well, however you determine a significant line of sponsorship, however you determine that, how many lines do you have of significance right now? What are the lines of significance? And then to measure how many lines do you need to have in order to make this year a successful year? Pay attention to the lines of significance. Very important. One other thing I would tell you is take inventory on how many cities or countries that you have within your organization, and what is your goal for 2021 to expand the cities or countries that you have within your organization. I believe that the United States is a huge opportunity for somebody. Somebody's going to take this market. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to take this market. It is takeable. You just got to decide if this might be one of your projects. You got a big business somewhere else around the world, this might be a good project for you to be able to come build. But pay attention to that. And finally, I just want to say, you need to examine your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs. You want to have a breakthrough, you want to go to the next level, you got to understand what is holding you back. And they're in your limiting beliefs. What beliefs are you married to that aren't serving you? I'm an introvert. I'm not a good leader. I'm inconsistent. Right? What are the things that you tell yourselves or somebody else told you and you keep repeating that cause you to play smaller? What beliefs are you married to that's not serving you anymore? They say you can't change the past. It's not true. You can change the past. See, people say, well, how do you change the past? Here's how you change the past. Change the meaning that you apply to the past, and the past changes. Just like that. You know, I was beat up, and I was made fun of, and I was bullied. And because of that, you can't expect me to be successful because I don't have much self-esteem. Well, maybe you were bullied in order to be strong enough to be able to tell the world and create a world where other people aren't bullied as much. Maybe that happened for a reason, so you could be a shining example in the future. You changed the story. Whatever that limiting belief, some of you were told that you were nothing since you were little kids. Some of you are in bad relationships, and in that bad relationship, that other person said something hurtful to you, and it sunk its teeth into you, and you've held on to that identity that other person tried to put on you. You can change the meaning anytime you wish. You can release that other stuff anytime you wish, and you can move forward. You could be a hostage to your past, or you could use it, harness it. I've had some of the most horrific things happen to me professionally that you can imagine. Stabbed in the back, betrayed, abused, mocked, ridiculed, made fun of, hated. I wouldn't change a single moment of it. Not a single moment. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. I wouldn't change a single moment for a couple reasons. Number one, I wouldn't be here living my best life. Number two, it made me stronger. I did not shrink from that circumstance. I rose from it. I wouldn't change it for the world, even though in the moment I would have changed it any way I could have. All of those situations caused me to be what I needed to be, and they'll cause you to be the same thing. I know everybody watching this has had some sort of drama, some sort of trauma. I know you all have. But are you going to use it, or are you going to have it use you? You going to use it to be a stronger version of yourself, or are you going to be a weaker version of yourself because of it and use an excuse to hide from the world? You got to decide. This is about, I mean, if we're talking about leadership here, guess what step one of leadership is? Lead you. Lead how you think about the past. Lead your goals. Lead your dreams. Lead your mind. Lead your emotions. Lead your spirit. And once you lead you, then you can begin to effectively lead others. But you got to lead yourself. Let me talk to you about I'm going to give you one quick hack, and then I'm going to talk about what I think are the key performance indicators for a leader within the organization. A quick hack. How many of you are organized? Pretty organized. Raise your hands, please. Pretty organized. See the hands, see the hands, see the hands. Pretty organized. I'm one of the least organized people you will ever meet. I am rebellious to structured authority. I'll give you an example. If you tell me tomorrow I have a call at 2:30, I'm now unhappy. Because it's like a splinter in my mind. I have to think about that call, I have to think about that call, I have to think about that call, I have to think about that call. Other people, you're super happy because you put it on the schedule and you got it, you're good. For me, day-to-day management of a task for the next year, like some people talk about daily method of operation. You ever heard that phrase? Raise your hand if you've heard that phrase. Here's a daily method of operation. Here's something you should do every day, right? And for you disciplined and organized people, daily method of operation, that is your thing. That is your jam. You make your little list. Today I'm going to share the product. I'm going to share the opportunity. I'm going to build for events. Here's my personal development time. That's what I'm going to do. Got it, right? Me, if you tell me I have to do something daily for the next 365 days, my mind rebels. It just does. So, knowing this about myself, knowing that I'm rebellious, I came up with a coping mechanism, a trick, so I'm more consistent. And I will tell you, I've produced and been more consistently prolific at putting out material and stuff for the last 12 years than I think anybody in the world, and I did it being super rebellious and unorganized. Here's how. Here's my hack. If any of you if you're disciplined, hey, all you got to do is make your list, and the world will not be peaceful until that list is gone. We know this about you. But for everybody else, here's my coping mechanism. Ready? I treat everything in my life as a project that has a beginning, middle, and an end. And I am happy working on a project and finishing a project, whatever it is. For you, a project might be getting to a rank or requalifying at a rank. It might be getting to an income level. It might be qualifying for an incentive trip. It might be treat the day. Today, my project is I'm going to reach out and connect with 10 prospects. I have a project. I'm going to launch a city in the United States. However, I got to do it. And I'm going to map out that project. It's going to have a beginning, middle, and an end. But I will tell you, the project for me, give me a project. I'm so happy with projects. And for day-to-day tasks, guess what I do? I delegate. I have other people do it. That's my simple little hack, okay? For you rebellious, unorganized people, create projects and reward yourself like crazy for that project, okay? For you disciplined people, hey, make your list and the world will get out of your way because you're so organized, you're going to make it happen. Got it? Okay, that's my simple hack. And I'm telling you, that little project thing made me more money than you can even imagine. Everything I do is a project. Everything. Coming here was a project. Going home. Tomorrow, my project, I have 3 specific projects between now and the 21st when I get on an airplane and fly international. Then I got a project for that trip. 2 of them. Everything's a project. Now, the other thing I want to give you before I get into the KPIs is I'm going to give you a way of thinking. This is one of my secrets as far as how to be very highly productive. And it's going to be hard for some of you to hear this, but it's my super secret weapon. There was a gentleman, one of the first billionaires I met. Anybody ever meet a billionaire? Show of hands. Anybody? A few of you? Oh, quite a few of you met a billionaire. They're unique creatures, right? They think different. They've got a different energy. Everything's different about the billionaires. Well, this first one that I met, he had 44 countries. He's worth about, not countries, he had 44 companies. He was worth about $3 billion. He seemed like he had all the time in the world. And I asked him, I said, can you show me how you do this? Because I'm frazzled all the time. I don't seem like I have any time to be able to manage my life. I'm behind, I'm running. How do you manage all this? He said, Eric, what's your goal? At the time, I was like, well, I guess $1 million a year is my goal. I said, okay, if $1 million a year is your goal, that works out to about $500 an hour. He said, Eric, is there a task that will pay you in network marketing $500 an hour? And guess what? There is. You know what that task is? Talking with a prospect. If you're talking with a prospect, whether it's reaching out, presenting, following up, closing, getting them started, whatever it is, if you're in front of a prospect, talking with a prospect, that will pay you $500 an hour over time. Maybe not in that hour, but I mean, put it this way. How many people have you personally sponsored since you started in the company? About 300. And how many people did you talk to, do you think, in order to be able to get those 300 to say yes?
About 400 or 500.
So you had like 50% say yes to you?
Yeah.
Wow, you're very powerful. So let's say it was 600 people that you talked to in order to get your 300. That's not normal, by the way. Most of you are going to be dealing with like maybe 10%, 5%, whatever, but her number is a big number. So 600 people over how many years? How many years, yeah?
About, if I say about 2 years.
About 2 years.
Only
Okay, 2 years, 600 people, 300 said yes. You must be a very influential person. But over that period of time, how many hours did you spend with those 600 people in order to get those 300 people to say yes? Maybe if you averaged it all out with all the conversations, maybe 2 hours?
yeah, some of them very easy.
Some easy, some hard. You got to follow up.
Maybe like 2 hours.
All right, so let's say 3 hours.
Okay.
So that's 1,800 hours over the course of 2 years. Okay? And I don't want this to be an income claim, so just forget who this person is. You know, don't even look at them. Approximately how much are you earning now? Approximately.
How much what?
How much are you earning now?
That's confidential.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to a number.
Compliance.
It's a compliance issue?
Yeah. If you know how much then they're same rank.
Huh?
They're same rank.
What rank are you?
Triple diamond.
Triple diamond. So everybody can figure out what triple diamond is. Okay? So everybody figure out triple diamond, and I want you to divide those 1,800 hours in there and see where she comes up with on this $500 an hour. But I would feel very comfortable that she earned more than $500 an hour when she was in front of those prospects. Okay? So, sorry if I tiptoed too far in compliance, but I'm trying to make the point. So $500 an hour. He said, Eric, can you do that? If you stay in front of prospects, you will make that money. He said, so 2 things, Eric. Number 1, anything you are currently doing that pays less then $500 an hour have someone else do it. It's my secret weapon. Anything that pays less than $500 an hour, have somebody else do it. And I said, well, wait a minute. What does that mean? Could somebody else put gas in your car? Yes. Could somebody else change the oil? Yes. Could somebody else go to the grocery store? Yes. How much does it pay? How long does it take to mow your lawn, to cut your grass? It takes me about an hour. How much could you pay somebody else to do that? 20 bucks? Every hour you're mowing the lawn, Eric, you're losing $480. Cleaning the house, somebody else should do it. Everything in your life that pays under $500 an hour that somebody else could do. Now, you shouldn't have somebody else put your kids to bed and read them stories. You know what I'm saying? Don't have somebody else take your wife on date night. You know, you should do that. But any business, anything that's in your life, you know what's the thief of most of your success and most of your growth? You know what it is? Your to-do list. Your nicky-nacky nonsense stuff that's just sucking up your entire life that you don't need to be doing. I never go shopping unless it's just going to bring my wife joy. That's the only reason I would do it. Outside of that, people bring stuff to me. I don't go grocery shopping. I don't put gas in the car. I don't wash the cars. I do nothing other than what I'm intentionally put on this earth to do. Okay? That number started at $500 an hour. Now it's much higher than that. 10 times that number. But what are the things that are causing you, that you have wrapped your identity in? Your identity, your purpose is not to do laundry, people. That's not why you're put on this earth, to do laundry and to wash the floors. So step one, you need to have somebody else do it. Step two, you can't just sit on the couch and eat bonbons and watch somebody else do their laundry. You got to get in front of prospects during those same hours. This is a productivity hack that's going to freak you all out. Because some of you have your identity in cleaning the house. Some of you have your identity in mowing the lawn. Some of you have your identity in being handy. My dad is handy. My brothers are handy. Something breaks, they can fix it. I can't fix anything. I've consciously chosen not to fix anything. I don't have a toolbox in my house. I have a house manager that I say, this is broken. Have somebody fix it, please. Then that's not to be elitist. It's because I only have so much time. And I'm not going to spend my time calling somebody to fix a problem when I can ask somebody to do it for me. This will change your life, and it's going to feel weird because you put your identity into it. It's going to feel really weird. So I would hope for you, if I moved into your house and I was coaching you, we're going to change the number of hours that you're spending in front of prospects, and we're going to reduce the number of hours that you're going to be doing scrolling mindlessly on social media. We're going to reduce the number of hours that you're spending driving around, trying to pick up stuff at garage sales, or whatever it is that you're doing, cleaning the garage, or whatever. We're going to reduce that dramatically. And you're going to be kicking and screaming and saying, no, I have to put the vacuum cleaner tracks into the carpet, or the kids aren't going to think that I love them. They're going to be fine. So, I will give each of you one assignment. Pick one area of your life that takes up time, that does not bring you joy. Okay? Now, if mowing the lawn brings you joy, do it. If that's the way you turn your brain off and you just focus on your garden or whatever, enjoy your garden. But if it doesn't bring you joy, like anybody, does it bring you joy to do your laundry? Start there. Hire somebody to come do your laundry. And leave it there. And replace those hours with talking to prospects. Start there. And then go to every other area. I haven't put gas in my car in years. Seems silly, right? My car is always full. My car is always washed. Managed. Okay? Because I'm here to do something different than just to get through life with a to-do list done. So focus on that. Now let's talk about key performance indicators. What are the things that you need to measure? If you're going to be a leader, you want to measure. I'm going to give you some statistics that you may have never seen. Some of you may have never, some of you corporate people might know this. And this is big data, okay? And I'm just giving you this because this is leadership and we're here to talk about what we're trying to do about it. Out of the last 100 million people that have joined network marketing, big data, 70% of them have recruited exactly 0 people. Zero recruits, 70%. Hmm? 70% of all distributors that have joined any network marketing company at any one moment in time have recruited 0 people. Okay? 20% have recruited between 1 and 2. 5% have recruited between 3 and 5. At that moment. Take the snapshot at that moment. 3% have recruited between 6 and 9. And 2% have recruited 10 or more. Any moment in time, take a snapshot of your organization. The reason why you see all those zeros in your organization, that's normal. It's not something to feel bad about. And so you go, well, oh my gosh, what's going on with all these lazy people? Most people in network marketing are tourists. It's okay. I live in Las Vegas. Guess what? Most people walking around on the strip, they don't live there. They're tourists. They came to hang out, take some photos, have a nice meal, go to some shows, gamble a little bit, go home. Same thing's true in network marketing. Because our price of entry is so low, our price of exit is equally low. That's just the way it is. So they call this group super recruiters, which I think is kind of funny because it's only 10, right? But this group is responsible for 70% of all recruiting in the entire organization. They average 27 plus recruits per person. The rest of this group are tourists. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here. Rome, Italy loves its tourists. We hope you come. Go see the Vatican. We hope you come. Go see the fountains. We hope you enjoy the gelato, and we hope you enjoy the fancy food and the sights and the Colosseum. But we know eventually you're going home. And when you go home, we hope you keep using the products. Tourists can still be customers, yeah? But your business is built on this group. This group is where you build your business. You have to do everything in your power to push people into the super recruiter group. This is when you know you have somebody. This is when you know Once you get them into this group, into this 2%, then you know you got something. Now, I'll give you something else to chew on with this piece of information. If you have less than 2% on your team that are in the super recruiter group, you're in decline. In any country, in any line of sponsorship, anywhere in the world, if you have less than 2%, out of 100 people, less than 2 of them have recruited 10 or more, you're going down. If you have 2%, you're neutral. If you have 3%, you're going to be 20 to 40% growth. If you have 4%, you're in momentum. That's a number you as a leader can change. Out of 100 people, can you identify 4 and show them how to recruit 10 or more? Out of 100 people in your group? The answer is yes. You can do that. You can influence that. So this is one of the KPIs that I would have you manage within your organization. Let's say you see that you got like, where's your business? What countries are your business in?
China,
China? Where else?
America, all around the world.
All around the world. So let's say you've got China and America, but let's say you have a business in Italy also. And Italy all of a sudden is in decline. All you got to do is pull a little report. How many people in the Italian group are in the super recruiter list? And if it's less than 2%, you're going to say, okay, we got to boost that up. We got to get that going, right? This is a number you can control. And all you got to do is get it to 4 out of 100 that recruit 10 or more. And you could do that with incentives and recognition programs and training and identification and mentoring, all that stuff in order to be able to make that happen. If you get it to 4, no matter what's going on in that marketplace, you will go into momentum even if other organizations aren't. So this super recruiter KPI is key. Key performance indicator. Number 1, super recruiter. 10 plus. Number 2, what I call core rank. For all the companies that I consult with and work with personally, all the leaders I work with, core rank is the most important. What is it, Danny, what's the core rank here, in your opinion?
Jade.
Sorry?
Well, from the company culture, it's Sapphire, but from your definition, it'd be Jade.
Okay. He said from the company culture, it's Sapphire. My definition would be Jade because I've worked with Danian before. I'll give you my philosophy of what a core rank is. A core rank is a rank in the organization that is a fundamental key building block. You can hit it with a hard effort, part-time, but focused effort in 30 to 60 days. It has some structure to it. It's not just sales. It has some structure, some recruiting, some building to it. And a person usually earns $300 to $500 a month if they're qualified at that level. Something like that. And the final criteria is you can go all the way to the top of the compensation plan just by building that core rank and then duplicating and duplicating and duplicating and duplicating and duplicating. Okay? Now let me tell you the importance of this and why this is, I believe this is the number 1 measurement of an organization or leader's health of the organization. And even talking to the corporate people that are sitting here, what I would highly suggest that you do is put a laser focus on this. If I was working with you personally, laser focus on this number, okay? Core rank. And here's how I would manage it and how I would encourage everybody else out there to manage it. So whether it's talk to your leadership, those that are watching around the world, if they say it's Sapphire, focus there. It sounds like Sapphire might be a little bit higher than Jade. Yeah, a little bit higher than Jade. Whatever your leadership and your culture decides it's going to be, make it that. but I would hope that you could try to get it into 30 to 60 days, got some structure to it, makes $300 to $500 a month. You can build all the way to the top with it. If you make it a little bit too hard, sometimes we're a little too aspirational, and it's not a building block. It's more of a thing, and you don't have enough of it. Well, you want it popping like popcorn. Pop, 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 everywhere. So, core rank. January. How many? February. It needs to go up. How many new people qualified? New qualifiers in the month of January at the core rank, however you describe it. How many brand new first-time qualifiers? Not requalification, first time. How many do you have on your team in the month of January? February must go up. If it stays the same, you need to be scared. If it goes down, you need to freak out. You need to have emergency midnight meetings. You need to tell everybody inside the organization, we got to stop everything. We got to put a laser focus on core rank because we went down this month. It has to go up. This is something you can control, something you can measure, something you can drive, but it has to go up. And in March, it has to go up from February. And in April, I don't care if that's a down month, it's got to go up. And in May, it's got to go up. Every month it has to go up. And I'm going to give you a simple process for this. But listen, if you did nothing but this, the strength of your organization is going to multiply at a level you've never seen. Now, if you're not at the core rank, well, however you describe it, get that done. And then identify somebody on your team that wants to get it done in February and help them get it done. And then identify who wants to get it done in March and help them get it done. This is the measurement. It's not, I will tell you, you can have sales and not be healthy as an organization. You can have rank advancements and not be healthy. You want to know when I know you as an organization are healthy is when this is occurring. When you're seeing a graph where it's doing this on core rank. So I would encourage you as leaders, anybody out there, take a look at your last 12 months, take a look at the year 2020, and what did it do? What you're going to see, for many of you, well, you'll see what you see. It's going to depend on the organization. You'll see what you see. But most of you don't even know. You don't even know how many core ranks happened this month. Was it up or down from the month before? You've got to know. This is the number one driver to health or disease within the organization. You're going to see numbers when you do this. Let's say January you see 13 people. Well, what does February have to be? More than 13. I'll give you a simple process. 1, take inventory. You want to grow it in March. Take inventory. And ask the group, who would like to get to core rank in February? I'm going to be working with you personally in order to be able to make it happen. I've got a training program. I got an incentive program. You're going to get time and access to me. Who's ready to go? And you're going to get a ton of people raising their hands. And then you need to mentor. You need to mentor that group and spend most of your time with people who are committed to going to core rank. If they're not committed to go to core rank, you can't really spend much time with them. They're just tourists. So they say that they're going to get there, then you need to mentor them, and you need to recognize them for being willing to go to core rank, and also if they get it, and then you need to repeat the process. Take inventory, mentor, recognize, repeat. So if you take inventory, let's say this happened by itself. In February, if you put a focus on this and you take inventory of the team, you're going to get something like 100 people 200 people that say, hey, I want to do it. Now, not all of them are going to do it, but you're going to go from 13 to 19 without even trying very hard, just by putting a focus on it. Then, you then repeat, then repeat, then repeat, then repeat, then repeat. Some people put too many campaigns on too high levels. Let's have a campaign to get to diamond. Diamond takes care of itself. If you hit core, diamond takes care of itself. If you don't hit core, a few people hit diamond and everybody else feels insecure. This builds a rock solid organization. So super recruiter number 1, core rank number 2. Number 3, event attendance. And talking about event attendance, I know we're in a world where we can't get together face-to-face and we can't do big conferences face-to-face, but your company's spending a fortune putting together structures like this here and around the world. Whoever gets the most people to attend these events is going to win. Let me give you an example. I had to pivot. We have an event that we do called GoPro. We do it once a year in December. We do it in Vegas. And we were hoping that COVID would stop and we could still do it this last December, right? So when it comes to convention attendance, there's 3 different types of people. When it comes to being a good person getting people to attend an event, there's 3 different types of people. First type is announcers. Hey, there's going to be Lead Jeunesse 2021. And it's going to be on this date. Announcers. Second group are the inviters. Hey, you should join us. Here's the link to register. And then the third group are promoters. Hey, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, in every possible way that you pound it into their brains until they finally relent and say, yes, they're going. There's a difference between announcers, inviters, and promoters. You want to go to the highest level, decide that you're going to be a promoter. Now, let me tell you what I did for GoPro. The most we ever had at GoPro was 18,000 people. Do it at MGM Garden Arena. People come from around the world. And we built a studio, like you guys built a studio, and we decided we were going to hold it around the world. So I did, first of all, we talked about it. We started promoting it. If you want to really be a great promoter for convention attendance, the first thing you need to do is recruit your leaders. You've got to recruit your leaders. Are you in? Here's our goals, here's our targets. Are you going to help me? How many are you going to commit to do? How many are you going to commit to do? How many are you going to commit to do? Okay, so you got to recruit your leaders. Don't just expect that they're going to be a part of this. You have to recruit them into this campaign with you. Don't assume that they're going to be promoters with you. And once you get your leaders, you need to assist those leaders in every possible way. I did about 300 Zoom calls personally between September 22nd and November 15th. 300 Zoom calls all around the world with the top leaders, with my community, 300. And because of that, because of the 300, because of the campaigns, because of the challenges, because it was everywhere, we had 36,000 people on around the world, 127 different countries and 9 different languages simultaneously. Next year, guess what we're going to have? 250,000. 250,000 people this December. We already have 40,000 tickets sold in this next December. Why do I tell you that? Because you've got to be an animal. The next Jeunesse event, you have to be an animal. You have to pretend you're getting paid $1,000 cash for every single person that logs in. You've got to be an animal if you want to be a great leader. Super recruiters, one thing you can control, core ranks another thing you can control, and attendance at a Jeunesse event has got to be sacred. People are either in or they're out. How much time can you afford to spend with somebody that will not attend a Jeunesse event? How much time? 0. I can't work with, if I'm sitting in your shoes, I can't spend any time because you're a tourist, you're going home. You're not even trying to become a permanent resident here. You're not even trying to become a citizen here. You have to, this is non-negotiable. You know how many people told me they couldn't afford it and we found a way? You know how many told me? I had 3,000 people in Australia, New Zealand watching our GoPro event, and guess what? We didn't give them any replays to the event. They had to watch it live. So that means they started at 2 a.m. and they went for 12 hours, 3 days straight. 2 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3 days straight. How many times do you think I had to overcome that objection? I had big leaders saying, my people just won't do it. I said, fine, put them on a Zoom and let me talk to them. After the Zoom, they said, okay. And the leader said, wow, okay, I guess that excuse wasn't a big excuse. You've got to be an animal. Let me just tell you something. If you don't have a bunch of people from your team complaining that you're talking about the next Jeunesse event so much, you're not talking about it enough. Most of us stop doing things because a couple people complain. If you don't have a lot of people saying, shut up already, we know the event, shut up, shut up, shut up. If they're not saying that, if you're not getting that from anybody, you're not promoting enough. This is a high-level skill. So these 3 big KPIs are critical, really critical. Let me talk to you about duplication. Is this good so far? Give me some hands if it's good so far. You get some notes? All right, good. All right. Duplication. I had no duplication for my first 3.5 years. Nothing. It was all me. I did all the prospecting, all the recruiting, all the training, put them in front of me. I did all the presentations. I got all the skill stuff. But I'll never forget, I was busting it, and I promised my family, because I'd gone on this big run, I promised my family I was going to take them to Disney World, because we were working so hard. So I promised to take them to Disney World, and remember Michael Nelson? Remember Michael? Michael was one of my mentors. He was cross-lined to me. And I started bragging about the fact, hey, I'm going to go to Disney World. I'm going to Disney World. I worked so hard. I'm going to Disney World. And he said, Eric, yeah. He said, Eric, your business is not in a state where you can tell everybody you're going to Disney World. I said, well, what do you mean? Isn't that why we're doing all this stuff? So we can have some time and enjoy our families? He said, yes, but you don't have duplication in your organization. If you go to Disney World, the message you're sending to your team is now's not the time to build, and they will all go on vacation at the same time you do. I said, no. Yes. I went to Disney World. I came back. My team was virtually gone. Literally 1 week. Virtually gone because I didn't have any duplication. And I just really, through tools and systems, I finally cracked the code on duplication. I'm going to give you some tips on what you need to do in order to be able to duplicate. First thing I will tell you, there are levels of duplication. Because a lot of people misunderstand this. There's core, there's above core, and then there's way above core. So let me explain this to you. A simple system, core, number one, is something that everybody can do no matter what their skill level, no matter what their belief level, everybody can use the products, right? So that's an example of core. Every single person can use the products, no matter what they're doing. Every single person can plug into the company Zoom. Every single person can do the basic stuff. But then there's above core, because some people misunderstand duplication and say, well, I can't do it if every single person on my team does it. If they can't do it, then I shouldn't do it. Well, let's take COVID out of it. Do home meetings work? When you go into somebody's home and you do a presentation in their home, does that work? Of course it works, but it's above core. It's not core, because guess what? 95% of people will never do one. No matter how much you push, no matter how much you hammer them, no matter how much you make it part of your culture, people are still just not going to do it, even though it works. Can everybody get up on the stage and do a presentation on your team? No. Does that mean you shouldn't do it? No, you should still do it. Can every person on the team travel to Orlando and sit in the studio with us right now? Nope. That's way above core. Some people are going to be traveling 5, 6, 7, 8 days a month or more to grow a huge organization. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So just understand, there's some things that are higher levels of duplication. More people, above core is going to be things like home meetings and doing presentations, hosting Zooms. These people are attending Zooms. These people are hosting Zooms. These people are traveling to different countries. See the difference? So understand that they can coexist. Now, here's what you want your team to think about your systems. 3 things. 1, this looks simple. 2, I think it'll work. And 3, I think I could do it. Systems help create duplication. But when people are looking at those systems, especially people on your team, you say, okay, here's the system to go get customers. Here's the system to go recruit. Here's the system to onboard a person to launch their business. They need to be able to look at it and say, oh, that looks simple. I think it'll work. I think I could do it. That's what you want them to think. Okay? Now, here's how you know that you've got a system. Because how many of you think you have a system in your business? You think you have a system for some aspect of your business? Here's how you know. Here's how you know. 1, everyone knows it. 2, everyone does it. And 3, it works. So if you take, let's say you have a system for core rank. What's your system for core? A person says, hey, I want to get to the core rank. What's your system to help them get there? Do you have a system for it? Or is it just, do your best, cross your fingers? What's your system? What's the training? What's the communication? What's the recognition? What's the process? What's the cycle? Is it monthly? What is it? What is the system? Does everybody know what the system is to get to core rank on your team? If they don't know it, then you got some leadership work to do. Does everybody do it? Or is there 500 different ones? And does it work? Most of the time, you think you have a system just because it works if somebody will do it. But everybody doesn't know it and everybody doesn't do it. So I'm going to give you a list of systems that are very important for you to either have, develop, or strengthen within your organization if you want to grow faster. Duplication is where we start to get into business, right? We're selling our products, we're recruiting. Duplicating starts to create leverage, and then leadership adds to that. But having a system requires leadership. The one thing I want you to all understand is here's one of the laws of the universe. It's called the law of entropy. Nothing lasts. Everything falls. Everything gets complicated. You know how difficult it is to keep something simple? You know how challenging it is to keep something focused and simple? It's so hard. The garden isn't a natural thing. Weeds are a natural thing. You got to figure out how to defend against the weeds, keep something simple, keep something focused, because things don't last. Us as leaders, we've got to, number one, understand what we're working with, but number two, we have to fight against the weeds constantly. Let me give you an example of something, not everything lasts. I went to Jerusalem. I've only been there once. I've been to Israel many times, but I went to Jerusalem one time. And I found it fascinating because growing up in my particular family, you hear the stories and it was part of our upbringing. And so to go there was an emotional thing for me. Really cool. And walking around this city, this spectacular city, we had a tour guide. And the tour guide, I asked about the walls because some of them were new and some of them were old. He said, guess how many times the walls around Jerusalem have been rebuilt? And I said, I don't know. He said 17 times. 17 times the walls around Jerusalem were rebuilt. We have this illusion in network marketing that build it once and have it forever. Doesn't exist. 17 times. It would rise, it would be smashed down, and it would rise again, it would be smashed down. The only part of the original wall is that western wall, that praying wall, what they call the wailing wall. That's the only part. So some of you building organizations around the world, you have your original part of your team from day one that are still there and probably orthodox. You know, they've probably got their way of thinking that was way back then and they're not changing. They don't like any of this social media stuff and they like things done a certain way, right? And then there's people who come since. Some people came and left. Some people came and left and came back. But now the wall is a hodgepodge, and leaders understand there's nothing that's permanent. We're in two businesses. For all of you watching, the building business and the rebuilding business. All of you in leadership are in the building business and the rebuilding business. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you step into true leadership. If you complain about the fact that the wall fell, if you complain about the fact that regulations changed or COVID hit or China isn't what it was or all the different kinds of things, there will always be things. You got to release that. You have to embrace the reality of we are in the building business and the rebuilding business. That's what we do. We're professionals at it. And we strive every minute for simplicity, and we fight against the weeds. And the weeds come from outside, and the weeds come from inside. People with good ideas that maybe weren't tested, but they get added on to some system that you've got, and pretty soon you've got add-ons and add-ons and add-ons and add-ons, and nobody knows what the heck to do. Because they're doing it different in Thailand than they're doing in Italy, and they're doing it different there than they're doing it in Bangladesh. So, let me talk to you about the systems that I would develop if I was you, or strengthen, or simplify. Okay? Let me create a list for you. Number one, customer acquisition. Do you have a system to acquire customers? The people who say, I understand that this is an opportunity-led organization culturally, and I think that's fine and great. The world has had a huge awakening, and everyone in the world is looking for ways to be able to earn from home. You have a way to earn from home with incredible products and a great culture. great leadership, you should help people. It's like there's been a flood around the world and you have unlimited life rafts. You should show them that you have life rafts to be able to help them. But there are also going to be people who are not ready to start a business, too afraid to start a business, too scared to start a business, that would still be a huge customer of your products. Do you have a system for acquiring customers? Do you have tools, social media, lives, parties, sampling, stories, challenges? What's worked in the past? What kind of irresistible offer can you create that the entire world will say, sure, okay, try it? And guess what most of marketing is? Leadership lesson. Guess what most of marketing is? Getting somebody to try something. That's all it is. You see all those ads on the television everywhere, social? You know what they're trying to do? Get you to try something. Remember that what was it, Mountain Dew commercial a couple years back, Puppy Monkey Baby? They had a Puppy Monkey Baby commercial, crazy Mountain Dew flavor. All they were trying to do with that stupid commercial was to get you to try that new flavor. Because if you try it and you like it, you'll try it again. If you don't like it, you're not going to try it again, right? There's Heinz ketchup, there's Hunt's ketchup. I'm a Heinz ketchup guy. If you bring me Hunt's ketchup and that's all there is, I'll probably take it, but I'm not buying it in the store because I've already tried Heinz. So you guys have products that you can get people to try. If they try it, they're probably going to like it. If they like it enough, they're probably going to refer it to others. And there's a big trend in the world right now of customers being added to organizations and being the recruits rising from that customer base. Something to consider. On top of what you're already amazing at. So do you have a system? Does everybody know it? Does everybody do it? Does it work? 2, customer onboarding. This is almost completely ignored in the entire network marketing world. The companies that do it well are crushing. I'm just telling you, from my consulting and what I work with around the world, the companies that onboard their customer are crushing. And here's what I mean by that. Here's how to use our products. Giving little assignments, getting it out of the box, getting it opened up, getting it put on, getting it ingested, giving them little assignments, little challenges. Try this product for the next 7 days. And then I'm going to call you. I want to know how you think or how you're feeling. See what I mean? There's a big difference between saying, okay, we're done. And they got it sitting in boxes in their bathroom or in their kitchen or wherever they have it in the closet, or it's opened and it's being used. If it's open and being used, getting them to buy it's one thing. Getting them to try it is another thing. You need to have a system for that. And if you have a system where every time you sell a particular product, they take the top off, they ingest it, you teach them how, you challenge them to do it for 30 days or 10 days or whatever, what are your chances of a repeat customer? They just went up like 1,000%. Versus it's sitting in the box, yeah, I got to get to it. Customer onboarding is critical. 3, distributor acquisition. You got them now? You're just gonna put them up there. All right, cool. I don't have to write them. What are the tools, events, systems, process in order to recruit a person? I understand we're changing. We do a lot more Zoom now than we used to do face-to-face. One-on-one has been crushing for the last 5 years, crushing everywhere around the world. And we have less ability to do one-on-one today. So we had to adapt, we had to pivot. But what is the system? Does everybody know it? Does everybody do it? Does it work? The 4th one is distributor onboarding, which is 2 things. And most people get one of these things really, really strong, and the other one not so strong. Well, I should say this. Most people ignore this. They sponsor them and they say, good luck. See you at the next event. Onboarding is almost non-existent. Okay? The strongest organization, you want to see, this is the one place where duplication will kick in faster than any other place. This one place, distributor onboarding. 2 parts. One is getting a person connected. Getting them connected, making sure they have the right order, making sure they know where the Zooms are and where's the team page and how do they do this and how do they get their questions answered and who's their upline and all the stuff. What's their roadmap to get to core rank and how do they understand the little basics of the comp plan? Getting them connected, right? That's part number 1. Part number 2, this is big. You want to go into momentum, pay attention to part number 2. Launching them. Write down that word, launch. Launch. There's a difference between getting started and launching. There's a difference between welcome to the team and launching. What is their grand opening plan? What is their kick-ass plan? What is their get it done in the next 30 days plan? Tell the world plan. Launch them. What's their launch plan to help them go get some customers quick? Help them get some distributors quick? Help them get a rank advancement quick? Get them registered for their next event. That's part of connection. But what's the launch plan? Now, if you come up with a launch plan, and I understand it might be different country by country slightly, region by region slightly, but if you have a launch plan that everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it works, your momentum will be completely different than a person who just welcomes them to the team. Welcome to the team is part 1. Part 2 is launch. And if you do this right, the new person's going to be so excited about being launched. They will step into the idea of being launched. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a coaching program that I do that's a year-long coaching program, and I had a call with them yesterday. And part of it, this whole week, we're talking about facing fears. That's the whole theme of the week. So my challenge to them was to beat their fears to death, to bludgeon their fears in 1 week. So I got this young lady, or not young lady, my age lady in the United Kingdom. I picked her out of the group, brought her up on the screen and said, what's your biggest fear? I've been involved in the company for a while, and I just don't have very much success recruiting. I've been involved for like 3 years. So how many people you recruit in the last 12 months? She said 2. I said, okay, you ready to beat that fear into submission? She said, okay. I said, here's your challenge. You're going to recruit 10 people in the next 7 days. She went, what? I said, yeah, 10 people in the next 7 days. So in that about 10 minutes with her, 15 minutes, we created a launch plan. Starting that moment, a launch plan for her to recruit 10 people in the next 7 days. And part of that launch plan is I had her assemble from her company people who would help her. So she contacted people she didn't even know that were big names in her company and says, hey, I've got this challenge. I need to go recruit 10 people in the next 7 days. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. I'm scared to death out of my mind. Will you help me? And they're like, sure. So this morning, before I came over here, I saw an update, Facebook Live that she did inside of our little training group that says, you're not going to believe this. I have a team and they're going to help me launch and create this whole thing. You create a launch strategy that includes kind of bringing a team together, and the whole team can kind of support and help and encourage and guide, recognize, inspire. You're going to see momentum like you've never seen. Next is distributor, core rank advancement. What is your system for core rank? What is your system to get people to want to get to core rank? Make it aspirational. Welcome to the company. How long do you want it to take to get to core rank? That needs to be in your language. It needs to be in your conversation. How long do you want it to take? You want to be one of the next ones that gets there? Let me tell you the fastest one, the fastest time a person ever did it. The average on our team is like, 8 weeks. You want to be average? You want to be faster? I'm not going to judge you if you're slower, but how long you want it to take to get there? You need to have that conversation. Then you need to be able to pull out and say, here is your roadmap to core rank. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and we're here to help you. Are you in or you out? You want to do it or not? If you just have the system, they'll step in. If you recognize that, if you encourage, if you motivate, if you inspire, the difference between having a core rank system and not having a core rank system is a difference of about 50% growth per year, plus or minus, well, if you have it or if you don't. Now, and here's the measurement. Some of you might think that you have it. Does everybody know it? Does everybody do it? And does it work? Is it in your head? Is it this verbal tribal story that you're hoping stays? Do we have to play the whisper game to show you how bad the verbal system is? A verbal system, just so you know, corporate and field alike, a verbal system is terrible because it'll turn into 5,000 systems around the world. Give me an imperfect system, but one that I can put on a piece of paper, and I can work with that. I can duplicate that. I can't duplicate your fancy story. I can't duplicate this tribal message that we're going to repeat around the campfire. Give me a piece of paper. Then you got something. Now you can go. Now I could put a recognition program around this, even as a field leader. Not just the company. I could put incentives around this. I could put contests around this. I could do all kinds of stuff with this. But the words, it's just like, gone. Core rank. Next, personal development system. Is there a personal development system inside the organization? Is there a system for encouraging personal growth? Is there a system for encouraging reading, for encouraging podcasts, for encouraging learning? Audio, video, print, online. Do you have a system for it? What are some of the giants of our network marketing profession over the last 50, 60 years? What are they built on? Personal growth. Now, is this just cross your fingers, hope for the best in your organization? Is there a book that you're all focused on this month? Is this a habit that you're encouraging or you're just hoping happens? Build a system around this. A system where everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it's working. You're talking about it. Personal development. Next, fundamental skill development. You need to have a system to teach people how to find prospects, to teach people how to invite, to teach people how to present and to follow up, answer questions, overcome objections, how to close, how to launch people effectively, how to promote events. What is your system for skill development? Because write this down. The best trained team wins. The highest skilled team wins. Somebody else might get there just by sheer force of personality. They're just so amazing, so charismatic, so powerful. Everybody follows them and it's amazing. But if they're not highly skilled, anything can knock them down. If they're not resilient, anything could knock them down. So yes, go crazy if you got momentum. But pay attention. I'll give you an example. One of the skills and one of the ways that you can measure the health of an organization is how many great presenters are there on the team. I'll ask you this. How many do you have right now? How many people on your team can give a competent and inspiring, opportunity presentation that you'd be comfortable putting them in front of your entire group? How many do you have? How many could do a great getting started training? How many could do a skills training? How many would you trust to do a keynote at the company convention? How many do you have? I had one leader, she lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and she really struggled with duplication. She was doing everything. She's very powerful. African-American girl. Man, if she got in the room, everybody took action. If she was not in the room, nobody took action. She did everything, and she was getting weary and tired. I got to do it all for everybody. I'm tired. I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. And I gave her an assignment. I want you to create a presentation school for your team. Once a week, I want you to invite people who would like to become a great presenter in the organization. I want you to come to my house, and every night for 10 straight weeks, we're going to do presentation role plays back and forth with each other. We're going to record it. We're going to film it. We're going to give you feedback. And 10 weeks from now, you're going to be competent at giving an opportunity presentation, a getting started presentation, a 3-way phone call, a lunch or a breakfast or a 2-on-1 in person. And we're even going to get you started on what you could do as a signature talk if you get invited to do some big talk on a Zoom or at the company conference. Who's in? She got like 50 people said, yes, I'm in. So she jammed her house filled, and for 10 weeks, that's all they did. 10 weeks later, she had something like 14 people that could do their weekly meetings, 14 people that could do presentations, 14 people that could, out of that group, that she felt, and she was a tough judge, that she felt, I could trust that person. I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to be in the same state or in the same country. They got it, right? Her duplication went, more people can do the presentation, the more you're going to win. So that's an example of skill-based systems. Is there something skill-based in order for you to be able to maximize the number of people that can do a presentation, can do a great Zoom? Who could do it just a phenomenal, unbelievable Zoom on your team, or is it just you? I actually think in this pandemic, the skills have gone down generally around the world because the leaders are all the ones doing all the Zooms. And the actual average person out in the marketplace isn't doing very many presentations at all because they're just leaning on the superstars from around the world who are doing it all. And they're losing the polishing of their skills sitting across the coffee table at Starbucks. Now, we'll get it back, but understand, the highest skilled team wins. All right, next. Next system for you to develop is a communication system. This is critical. It's never been more critical than right now, this moment. I'm not going to talk about politics, but I will say that your control over your communication process is not as much in your control as you think. If you have all of your communication on one platform and that platform decides to block you for whatever reason, you now have no ability to connect with your organization. You've got to have a communication system that's so solid on multiple platforms. Yes, Facebook. Yes, Instagram. Yes, WhatsApp. Yes, Clubhouse. Yes, Telegram. Yes, YouTube. Yes, email. Yes, text message, phone call, all of it. I'm in the process of completely taking my communication systems as a business person to another level because I've been personally lulled to sleep and counting on a couple platforms because I got a couple million here and a couple million there. Well, they don't give you full deliverability, number one. So I'm really upping the game when it comes to text communication. I'm really upping the game when it comes to voice communication. There's an app called Chirp, CHIRPP, I think, where you can send people ringless voicemails. So their phone won't even ring. They'll just get a message in their inbox or on their voicemail box. So you can send that to your entire organization if you want and say, hey, this is Dennis, and I just wanted to give you a quick update. You know, the lead Jeunesse 2021 is coming up in 2 days, and really want you to make sure you have it. So I wanted to personally call you and tell you how important this is. Sorry I missed you. Have a great day. Here's the link. They're like, oh my God, Dennis called me. Right? There's lots of technology out there. What's your communication platform? Your system to communicate, because whoever's connected the strongest is going to win. Okay? What I mean by this is, if something happens in the regulatory front, whoever communicates with their organization the tightest is going to win. Something happens globally, politically, socioeconomically, a new product comes out. Whoever's connected deepest. I mean, leaders are lazy in our profession, and they think if they talk to 10 of their leaders, then it's naturally going to find its way to every single person in the team. That's not the way it works. So just know you have a responsibility to create a communication system that is world class. You, not the company. That's on top of what you do. You need to. Okay? Next. Recognition. You want to be a great leader in Jeunesse. You want to be a great leader in this profession. You want to be a legendary leader. Create recognition programs on top of what the company does. On top of what the company does. How can you recognize people's achievements on social? How can you recognize through awards? How can you recognize through proximity, where they get to be closer to you? How do you recognize through extra training that you would provide to people who do certain things? Like, I'll give you an example. You could offer, as a leader, I'm going to do a special training series, a 4-part training series in February, only for people who qualify at core rank in January. You're providing an incentive and recognition and training and skills all in one. And I promise you, for you top leaders, they will do what they have to do to get to that rank. It didn't cost you anything. You're going to be providing training to them anyway. But you gave them a form of recognition, and then you provide a list of the people who qualified. And you put that up on social, and you email it out to everybody, and you tell all the top leaders to call them, and you send an email to the CEO of the company and say, I just wanted to introduce you to so-and-so because they just qualified at this rank, and they're going all the way to the top. And they get all this recognition, all this stuff that you can do. So what do you do when a person rank advances in your organization? What system do you have in place to recognize that behavior? When a person, what do you do to recognize people who are at this event, watching right now around the world? What do you do? Too many leaders are saying the company needs to do more. The company needs to do more. We need more. We need more. Fine. Let the company do what it's going to do. It's providing an opportunity for you. You just need to just go take your CEO of your own business, right? They're here to support you, but you go drive the things that are going to make it work for you. Recognition systems inside of your team. You do this right, people are just going to have so much pride in being in your team because of the extra recognition you provide. And maybe the company does a really great job at higher level recognition, and you can do a job at lower level. Maybe you do it for super recruiters when they get to their 10. Maybe you do it for core rank. Maybe you recognize people for their first distributor. Maybe you come up with a campaign that all it does is recognize people when they sign up their first person. What do you think that would do to the behavior of your organization if everybody was celebrated for their first person? Let's all celebrate so-and-so because they just signed up their first person. They're on their way. What's that going to do? So stop waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do, and you just start to create a system and drive that. Number 10, we talked about it a bit before, convention attendance. Convention attendance system. I don't need to cover that more, I don't think. Number 11. leadership, development, and mentoring. This is a big one. Do I really just have 15 minutes left? Is that the real clock? Yes, it is? Oh boy, okay, I'm going quick. Man, that went fast. Okay, leadership, identification, and development. This is critical. Please write this down. I know we've been going a long time. I know you haven't had any breaks, but please write this down. This will supercharge your business, okay? Every one of you needs to take inventory of your team to find out who has the potential of becoming a leader. Who has the potential of becoming a leader? You're looking for 3 things. 1, they need to be willing. You cannot force someone to be a leader. They need to be willing. Number 2, they need to be coachable. And number 3, they need to be hungry. Willing, coachable, hungry. You can't force somebody to be successful. You can't help somebody who won't listen. And there's no future for somebody who's not hungry as far as leadership development. You have to have all 3. 2 out of 3 is not enough. So you're going to take inventory within your organization, say, who is willing to do the work? Who is coachable and they'll follow instructions? And who is hungry? Who's ready to change their life? Now here's the dilemma, the catch-22 of leadership. The dilemma is this. Raise your hands around the world if you're willing, coachable, and hungry. Raise your hands, please. Virtually everybody. So everybody says they are. How do we know who to work with? How do we know? It's very simple. I have a process so you can figure out who to work with. Because here is what I want you to do. You spend your personal time with these people. You spend group time with everybody else. You don't spend any personal time unless they're in this arena. Okay? Even if you're signing up a brand new person, the beginning of duplication, the beginning of leadership starts with the first conversation you have with a brand new person. Okay? So I'll give you an example. If I sign up a brand new person, let me tell you the first thing that needs to come out of their mouth, out of my mouth to them is, listen, what's your name again?
Mandy.
Mandy. Hi, Mandy. So Mandy, my goal is to help you become independent from me as quickly as possible. Where you can operate on your own anywhere in the world. God forbid something happens to me. My goal is that for you to become independent from me as quickly as possible. How quickly do you want that to happen? How long do you want it to take for you to become independent? About how long? Give me an idea.
1 month.
1 month. Okay. You're going to get a lot of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. The number doesn't matter. What matters is our goal is you to become independent. Okay? So let me tell you what I'm looking for, Mandy. For you to become independent, first of all, I'm looking for people who are willing, coachable, and hungry. Are you willing to do the work to become independent? Are you willing to be coachable in the process? Are you hungry? Do you really want this? All right, fantastic. Then let's make it happen. All right? Now, here's how I'm going to know. She's going to say all these things because it's easy to say yes, it's hard to say no. This is the number 1 tool of the leader. Assignments. This is how I'm going to know. Now, Mandy told me she wanted to be independent in 30 days. Wow. Her telling me that, and I believe her, her telling me that leads me to believe that, she's pretty serious. So I could give her assignments right? To, number one, find out if she's willing, coachable, and hungry, and also assignments that would help her to become independent, a good problem solver, consistent, build up her vision, and create more action, right? Those are the 5 things we're looking for. So let's say there's an assignment from a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What level assignment do you think I should give Mandy? Hold up with your fingers around the world. What level assignment should I give to find out if she's serious? What level should I give her? A 2? A 9? A 10? She seems pretty serious to me. So let's say I give her an 8. She wants to get there in a month, right? So I give her an 8 assignment. And I say, Mandy, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a list of 100 people and do it quickly because we only got 30 days, right? And then I want you to get back to me, and we're going to contact those 100 people and just say hello in the next 72 hours. Okay? All I want you to do is contact all 100 people in the next 72 hours and just say hello. Okay? You make a list. You're going to contact them, say hello. Got it? All right. You got 3 days to do it. Get back to me in 3 days and let me know how you did. I give that to her. It's pretty heavy, right? I mean, that's brand new person just signed up. Even though I just said, say hello, don't do a presentation, it's 100. You know, it's 33 a day. It's a bunch. But it's an 8. She said she wanted to get there in a month. So let's say, and I know this isn't true for you, Mandy. I know you would do it. But let's say I don't hear from Mandy. Or I call her at the end of the day tomorrow and say, how's it going? She said, well, stuff got in the way. What do you mean stuff got in the way? Did you make your list? No, I've got like 20 on the list. Well, what about the rest? I thought we wanted to get there. Yeah, but stuff happened. What does that tell me? We got challenges on coachability. She might not be hungry. Right? Or maybe, some people get really frustrated with people like Mandy that said they were going to do one thing and does another and say, oh, I heard another one. They told me I could retire off of them, Bunch of liars. Maybe Mandy was trying to speak into existence her goals and dreams, and she was accepting a big challenge because she wanted to break out of her current circumstances, but when she got alone by herself, it was a little scary. And the other stuff showed up, and she was almost grateful for the distraction because she was already a little bit too scared. It happens a lot. So I call her up, and she didn't do the 8. Instead of getting mad at Mandy, we recalibrate and I bring it down. Let's say I bring it down to a 6 and I give her a 6 assignment. If she still doesn't do that, I bring it down to a 4 assignment. If she still doesn't do that, I bring it down to a 2. Maybe I bring it down to a 1. Mandy, all I want you to do is use this product for the next 7 days, once a day. And after 7 days of just using it yourself, I want to talk to you and see how you feel. Will you agree to that? Yes. Then she does it. And as soon as she does it, then I'm going to just give her a 2. And then as soon as she does that, then I'm going to give her a 3. And I got to find what her fear level is. And everybody has a different one. So she might tell me that she wants to be independent in 30 days, but it might end up being 9 months. So I find out what her fear level is, and then I raise the temperature from wherever I find it. I'll give you an example. When I really know I have someone, and you've all done this. Anybody ever go fishing? Anybody go fishing? You put some bait on the hook, and you put it in there, and you go fishing. And you're like, oh, wait, did I get one? Oh, wait, did I get one? You pull it up, and the fish have just stolen your bait, right? The little ones, just tick, 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 tick. You're not quite sure, not quite sure, not quite sure. And then have you ever gotten one, a big one? It's like, there is no doubt I got one, right? So here's when I know I have one. Here's when the top leaders in the world know they have one. The person says they're willing, coachable, and hungry. They ask them, how long do you want it to take until you're independent? They say whatever number that they say. And then they give them a 4. Here's the 4. 1 hour later, person calls back, says it's done. What's next? Oh, I got one. I got one. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Really? And then you're like, oh, don't tease me. You give them a 5. And they call back an hour later. It's done. Oh, we're going to run. This is going to be amazing. Because then I can give them a 6. Boom, it's done. When I met Danian for the first time, even though, you know, I'm a coach, mentor, friend, I'm not an upline, I knew I had one because he did it. If I gave him something to do, hey, I want you to try this, it was implemented in 24 hours, system-wide. I'm just like, I'm going to help him as much as I can help him. Versus people like arguing with you. You ever have team members argue with you? It's like, come on, stop arguing with me. You can either complain with them and try and convince them all the time, or just focus on the ones that go. Find the fear level, amp it up, right? Help them to independence. We're going from dependence to independence. We're going to use assignments on this journey, and we're going to use the old tell, show, try, do on this journey. So you're looking for 3 things. This one page here should make you so much money. You're looking for 3 things. You cannot afford to work with anyone that is not willing, coachable, and hungry. You find out their fear level, 1 through 10, by testing them and giving them assignments. Their response to those assignments, not their words, their actions, their response to those assignments is what's going to tell you how to calibrate down or calibrate up. Once you find their fear threshold, then you can start ratcheting it up with love and compassion the whole way to help them get to a 10, help them go from dependence to independence, help them go be in one of those 25 leaders that you need to make your $1 million a year on average around the world. That's what this is the mentorship. This one page is a short course in mentorship. This is what it takes to get in. This is what it takes to prove it. This is what it takes to improve their strength. Our goal is to go from dependence to independence, and we use tell, show, try, do, and assignments to help them get there. That works everywhere in the world, every marketplace, everywhere. You just take that one piece of paper, you should be able to double your organization, I don't care how big the size is, in the next 12 months. Run your whole team through that filter. Even if they're a high-ranking person. You can have a high-ranking person that forgot to be willing, coachable, and hungry. You can have a high-ranking person that had fear stop them at some level. You can have a high-ranking person that you need to remember to give them some new assignments. Daniel will tell you, and all the other people that I work with personally will tell you, every time I'm with them, you know what I give them? Every conversation that we have, you know what I give them? An assignment. Every time. Before we started the session, I gave another assignment. So think about that in terms of how you can increase your influence around the world. Is this making sense? All right. I have so much, but I want to cover. Oh, they gave me more time. Yay. I got a little more time. Those of you who needed to go to the bathroom just went, oh, crap. They gave him more time. Let me talk to you about what's going to change your life because it changed mine. I would like you to write 3 things down or put in your notes or however you got it. One is every single one of you need to think bigger. You must think bigger. Whether you're working for the company or you're working in a country, or I don't know, I don't even care what your personal circumstance is. You might not have enough money to pay rent right now. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. You've got to think bigger. Beyond whatever it is that you've experienced before. Some of you top-ranking people, you're the biggest kahuna in your world. You got to get around some bigger kahunas. You got to get around some bigger people, some higher influence people, some higher energy people. Because if you're the biggest big shot in your world, it's a bigger world out there, I promise you. The world is not served by you playing small. And if there's any epidemic out there in the world, is people being reasonable and rational and practical. You want to change the world? Those are not words that should describe you. You need to be unreasonable and irrational. You need to set outrageous goals, ridiculous goals, whether it's income, rank, personal recruits, global expansion. Just requalifying at the highest rank you ever hit is not enough, even though that might be a good goal. Some of you have been beaten down by not hitting the biggest goals that you've ever had in your life, so you go down, 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 and now you're this little rational, inch by inch, it's a cinch. Can't beat somebody who never quits. If your hero's the turtle, we have a problem. You're not meant to crawl. And I know you might be tired of crawling, but listen, you got to think bigger. Bigger, and it's hard to think bigger because the world tries to tell you that you're being unreasonable and you're being ridiculous and you're being stupid. 3 different types of people in the world. 1, there are the pessimists. And does a pessimist think things are going to get better or worse? What do you think? Up or down? Down. And guess what? They're usually right, and they're kind of proud of it. Told you stock market was going to go down. Told you I was going to lose my house. Told you I was going to lose my job. Told you I was going to get COVID. Told you. Second group of people are the realists. There's a lot of those in the world. And for the realist, the worst thing in the world for the realist is to be embarrassed. Is to have somebody laugh at them, to be humiliated. So they don't set big goals because they might get embarrassed. They might fall, they might fail. They set reasonable goals. They set modest goals. If it's a high jump, they set it at 2 inches. Made it. Victory. They don't set big goals because that includes big risk. The biggest thing to them, they don't want to be laughed at, they don't want to be made fun of, they don't want to be mocked, they don't want to be ridiculed, they don't want to look foolish, they don't want people whispering about them or rolling their eyes. So they set little itty-bitty goals, and they're very proud that they hit those goals. Their hero is the turtle. They love the turtle in the hare story. The hare got distracted. The turtle, inch by inch, it's a cinch. You can't beat a person who doesn't quit. Well, guess what? In real life, the turtle gets run over by a truck. You do not win being the turtle as an entrepreneur. Sorry. Sorry. Third group is the visionaries. People like you. And visionaries are weird creatures. They say, here's where I am and here's where I'm going, and I'm going to do it quickly. I want to go from here to here. And it's outrageous and it's incredible. And they have no experience and no reason to be able to feel like they can do it. And they're just like, what? But they say, I'm going. I'm doing it. Right? They set crazy goals, ridiculous, outrageous goals. And guess what? How often do you think they hit their goals? Almost never. But in the reach for them, they hit here. So on pure results, where would you rather be? Here as a pessimist, here as a realist, or here as a visionary? Easy to say visionary, isn't it? Sexy. Easy to say. But it's hard to be over here. Because this group is 99% of people, and all they do is point at the stuff that you didn't do. The goals you didn't hit. And it's hard. 99% is hard. 99 to 1, telling you you're being stupid, telling you, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You're just a girl. Who do you think you are? You've never had success before. Who do you think you are? You live in a remote area of the world and there's not enough. Who do you think you are? There's not enough money in this economy in order to be able to do it. Who do you think you are trying to build a business in the middle of COVID? Who do you think you are? Never forget, I kind of adopted early on this visionary mindset, and most of it was just trying to talk something into existence. And I was always had big goals and big dreams. We're going to get more people to the event. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. All this stuff, building in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'll never forget, I came into the office one day and there was a guy, he's like 55 years old, successful, worked for a big Fortune 500 company. And he said, Eric, can I talk to you for a second? I said, sure. And he said, privately. I said, okay. And he invited me into this office, closed the door. He said, you've been talking all this big talk about all this stuff you're going to do. He said, it's hard for me to tell you this, but I just want you to know that everyone is laughing at you. The entire team. You're kind of a joke. You're a punchline. Everybody puts Eric math to everything you're going to do. They divide your goals in half and they divide them in half again. And they all laugh when you don't hit your goals. And son, he said, you have no credibility. You're not a man of your word. And if you're not a man of your word, you have no character. Tough. And I'm like, okay. And he said, it's so unnecessary because all you have to do is just you always hit a little bit below the goal, just hit that. And then now you're a man of your word. Easy. Now you can somebody that people can trust if you'll do that. Easy. And you ever have one of those moments where your life kind of flashes in front of your eyes, in a pretty brief period? Well, here's what happened to me. I said, based upon my experience, if I go here, I set my goal here, I'm pretty likely to end up here. And if they're still not happy, I'm pretty likely to end up here. And if they are going to be the driver of my success, their approval is going to be so necessary, pretty soon I'm just going to give up and join this group. And if I stay there long enough, I'm going to be over here bitter about my lack of achievement in my network marketing career. So I saw one compromise led me to here. So I said, this all happens in like 5 seconds in my head. So I turned to him. His name was Dennis. I said, Dennis, thank you for telling me this. And it wasn't this Dennis, but thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me this. I know it had to be an uncomfortable conversation, and I appreciate, you feeling honest and upright. And you're right. My goals have been off. From now on, I'm going to aim higher. I'm going to take this. This is way too low. This number is way too low. I got to go up from here. I got to get more ridiculous. I have to miss more targets. I got to stretch more, farther, and And I have to be louder. I have to stop qualifying it. And I have to stop listening to a couple people that complain. I'm going to go all the way. And he was kind of shocked, but I did. And I will tell you, my life changed because of unreasonable expectations. My life changed because of taking crazy goals. Do one thing for me right now. Set a target. What would be a good monthly income would make 2021 a successful year for you? What would be a good monthly income December of 2021? Write it down, please. What would be a good outcome December of 2021? Got it? You write it down? Everybody write it down? That would be success for you. Okay. Now I want every single one of you to double it. Really write it down, double it, circle that. Now I would like you to double it one more time. And I know that feels completely stupid, outrageous. But here's what I want you to do. Map out a game plan for the new highest number. What does your recruits need to look like? What does your lines of sponsorship need to look like? What does your core rank need to look like? How many different countries do you need to have open? What do you need to become? What kind of a leader you need to develop? What do your systems need to look like in order for that to happen? Like Danny was talking about hitting a big number, and I said, you need to double that number because then the number you're trying to hit is going to get really easy. All you have to do is ask permission. The universe will get out of the way if you're serious. Really, really. Marina and I are operating at such an accelerated vision period of our lives that we have to be a little bit careful about what we talk about because it starts to happen literally within days, maybe weeks. It's spooky once you start giving yourself permission for a total breakthrough. So number one, all of you got to think bigger. Got me? Who's ready to think bigger? Raise your hands, please. All right, cool. Number two, it's time for every single one of you to be stronger than you've ever been before. To stop complaining and stop whining, stop looking for help and stop looking for support. You are the CEO. You are the center of this business universe. Make it happen. Stop putting it on other people. Be stronger than your circumstance or your or whatever's going on in your community or the economy. Be stronger than COVID. Be stronger than all this stuff. You got this. Stop looking out there. It's in here. Become the person necessary in order to take this thing to the next level. When you do that, it's game over. You step into a level of maturity that's reserved for the superstars. Be stronger. And the third thing you need to do, this is really critical, is you need to move faster. Success loves speed. If you're going to do it fast. Success loves speed. You got to go. If you're going to get to that rank, get it done. If you're going to go recruit 20 more people, get it done. Do it now. If you're going to expand a new city, get it done. Whatever the next Jeunesse event is, you got to set an outrageous, ridiculous, over-the-top goal, and you got to get it done. My goal for my next event, not the next event, but the one that I'm having at the end of this year, 250,000 people. It's never happened. Never. Network marketing history. Not even close. It's going to happen. How? I have no idea. Do it now. Go fast. You do not have the luxury of time if you want to be a high-level entrepreneur. Go, 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 go. My motto, Marina's motto, and the motto of all the top entrepreneurs that I know, 3 things. Say yes. Say yes. But before you have the plan, say yes before you know how you're going to do it. Say yes to the income, the rank, the goal, the number of people at the convention before you even know how you're going to pull it off. How to pull it off is not necessary. It doesn't even matter. Say yes, number 1. Number 2, tell the whole world. I just told you I'm going to put 250,000 people in an event. Never happened. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to. Tell the whole world. And then number 3, figure it out. Say yes, tell the world, figure it out. All average people try to figure it out first. They say yes quietly, they don't tell anybody. And then if it works out good, they're going to look good, and then they'll tell the world. Yep. Entrepreneurs do this. They say yes, they tell the world, and they figure it out. That's what you've got. I've got to tell you something. All of you are involved in this company at this moment for a reason. The company has built a foundation, and it went through a period of consolidation to come out stronger and more powerful than it's ever been before. They have the infrastructure. They've got the groundwork. What's necessary is you turning into the leader you need to be, you attracting and mentoring the leaders on your team to be world class, to develop thickness of leadership, not only in your country, but around the world. But when you do that, I'm telling you, 5 billion, 10 billion, 20 billions on the table in the near future. The world is ready for a change. We've taken home business, entrepreneurship, where it was going to be 10 years from now, and it's right now. Everybody in the world is looking for what you have. But if you think bigger and you be stronger and you move faster, whoever tells the story to the most people is going to win. You do that, and it's game over. So listen to me. This has been fun for me to be able to share with you. I hope you got some ideas on this and ideas to be able to take this to the next level. I want to thank you for having me and wish you the most spectacular of 2021s. All right? Love you all. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody around the world. Appreciate those in attendance. Thanks, everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thanks, Dennis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, keep it going one more time for Eric Worre. Absolute pleasure to have you, brother. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. Wow, give it up, keep it going for Eric, everybody in the chat and the few people we have here live. What an unbelievable session we had here. And we are coming to a close in just a moment. There's a few things I need from you guys, our super fans here, and everybody.